If I turn this screen towards there, we can get some infinite regression going.
Yep.
It's almost there. It's just off angle.
Right there. I'm pointing into eternity.
Man, what's that like?
Eternity?
Yeah. No pointing.
It's about 1080p.
I'm just
Cool.
trying to give you some space here.
No, I mean I can turn it back.
No, that's
I
fine.
was just giving BJ a look.
Ooh,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
good.
getting him a little
Give me a look.
taste of that action.
mean,
Are we live?
We are.
We are, yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fucking streaming and
Yeah,
shit.
starting off with the innuendo.
Let me sip that action, my friend.
My friend. Is there audio?
Well, the little thing is going boopity boop boop.
Yeah, boop, boopity boop.
Boopity boop 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 boop. I could just play this. And find out.
Look, I don't have time for your technical jargon.
Boopity boop
Jargon.
boop.
No time for jargon here.
Bibbity bobbity boo.
All right, time
Put them
to
together and what have you got?
tweet.
Time to tweet.
Snopes.com. Did Mike Huckabee's son kill a dog? Yes. Yes, he did.
Is Sarah Huckabee the dumbest fucking idiot on the planet?
Yes. Yes, she
Yes,
is.
she is.
Oh man, Trump's going to be in Pensacola on Friday.
Mm.
Oh, good. It'll smell worse.
Oh shit! Shots fired.
That's why I said that. I need some hot Pensacola hate.
All right. So fuck, marry, kill. Trump, Pensacola, or Wings of Gold.
I've forgotten what Wings of Gold is.
Pensacola Wings of Gold. It's the show that was filmed in. Actually, it wasn't filmed in Pensacola.
It
just took place in
They
Pensacola.
couldn't film because people always had that smell of stink
Yeah.
on their face, so they never.
What was that? What was the Pensacola movie?
I was,
Was
in
it?
Pensacola for a week. I didn't smell one thing that smelled any
You
different
have a
than
terrible
here.
schnoz.
I've never been to Pensacola.
Yeah, fix your
so
schnoz.
I can't say anything about
Yeah.
The
Pensacola.
official facial expression of Pensacola.
What the fuck?
It's not fucking Brunswick.
Yeah, Brunswick fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That place can
Yeah, man.
burn.
You heard me, Brunswick.
That's right.
Well, they got the fucking pulpwood
They do.
thing there. It smells like ass.
Get fucked, Brunswick. More like Brunswick poo.
Yeah, more like Bruns.
And I'm referring to Georgia
Stinky
before
Bruns.
any of the other Brunswicks are like,
Right.
hey.
Hey, hi.
More like
Hi.
Bruns stink poo.
Brunswick, Maine actually smells just fine.
Yeah,
Really?
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure it does.
delicious.
Yeah.
Smell like lobster.
Sorry, still had sarcasm on. I'm sure it does. I think she's flooded.
I mean, it does smell kind of like ships and shit because there's a lot of Navy things there.
I feel like I'm
Ships
going
and
to be
shit
the...
or ships and other shit.
Ships
Sticks and
other
stuff.
things.
Ships and shit. Welcome to ships and shit. Guess what we got? Got a little bit of ships and a little bit of shit. Ships and shit. You son of a
Oh,
bitch.
We
man.
got a few ships and a little bit more shit because it's much smaller. Ships are big, you
A
see.
little bit of shit. Not a bit of ships. Shit. Anyway, that's the podcast for this decade.
Man, why are we starting off with the hate? We're just
What are you
like,
talking about?
like first thing on the list is like, fuck that.
It's the newest thing.
Is it?
That's the only reason it wound up there.
Really?
That's
I
the newest
think so.
thing? All right.
All right.
I mean, we could put Assassins first.
Meh. Wolfenstein 2 came out after Assassin's Creed.
I don't
Yeah.
pay attention to release
But
date.
that's none of my business.
Yeah, you know what? We didn't talk about Wolfenstein at all last time. I'm making a decision.
Okay. Cool. I will shit on that instead.
Oh, shit!
Shouldn't do that.
Mm.
Really?
Really.
Okay.
Really.
Because the story's good? Because the game fucking sucks.
Whoa.
Save it for the show, son.
Just make a fucking Wolfenstein movie. I don't have to play that bullshit.
What?
Hot take incoming. All right, so
If it's not Dungeons 3, it can fuck off.
unless it's Dungeons 2.
The Harlow story.
I like that I've got all these right here. I don't even have to pull up my notes on my laptop. I can look on this monitor and see.
You put porn on laptop.
So what you do? Just skip to the second one?
What?
Your name suddenly appeared on the second one on Wolfenstein 2.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Chuck loaned me his copy.
Yeah, he has my copy now.
I started killing Nazis while wearing Isaac's uniform from Dead Space.
It's true.
It is. It's weird.
Totally true.
So do you guys want to do a podcast?
Reckon so.
This guy does.
Would you like to do a
That guy does too.
Whatever.
Would you like to talk more about video games?
No.
No? Okay.
Press X to podcast.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. How about you, Harlow?
Why
Would you
not?
like to talk about video games?
Chat's full, you guys.
That's what we
so,
do.
uh,
That's what we do, I
Chat's
guess.
full of 0 people.
No, we
now it's full.
look at you. Look at yourself. My God.
What? I'm greeting the peeps.
My God.
Look at all these
Chuck.
peeps hanging out with us.
You have been blocked for spam.
Are you looking over here now?
Yeah, I had to peek over and
Uh-huh.
check out the bullshit that Chuck.
I'm going to report you.
Oh, do you not have admin
Uh-huh.
on No Quarters?
I don't know. I guess not.
Are you logged in as No Quarters?
No, I am not.
Okay.
Just give myself supreme powers.
I mean, I have like gears or what the fuck is that mean? It says I'm a moderator. What the fuck do you moderate?
The mods.
Who moderates
Whatever.
the moderators?
I don't give a shit.
None of you. Are we recording?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I hope so. Welcome to No Quarters, episode 94.
Whoa.
It's a motherfucking video game podcast.
It is. We're getting up there. We're almost at 100.
We are old.
It'll be another year, and we'll be there. Anyway, I'm
Wonderful.
Mackie,
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Harlow.
and we've returned. We've returned after the big post-game release onslaught. Hey, it's beginning of November. Let's just throw everything out at the same time.
And
Time.
also Thanksgiving Steam sale or whatever.
Oh, God.
Also, all sales because
Right.
all those games that came out in
Oh.
November were half off a month later.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that whichever you choose
Mhm.
lasts. Isn't it? Basically, it's if it's the month if it's between Halloween and Thanksgiving, it's a Black Friday sale, and after that, it's all Cyber Monday sale, right?
Yeah, because it's Cyber Monday week, at the very least.
That's still happening.
yes.
Wouldn't that be Cyber Week?
They don't call it that.
No, they just call it Cyber Monday.
It's like
just
Monday
like
Night
I,
Just
Football
like,
on
just like
Thursday
Black
night.
Friday
Like-
goes from
I legitimately started getting Black Friday deals on November 1st,
Mhm.
and it never stopped. Like so many of them, they have so many, I don't even read them anymore. Like Best Buy, they're desperate, man. Best Buy is so thirsty. They're just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
we're selling. We don't even know what.
That's true. And they did have some.
you can have a washer and dry for $1. Just come in the store, please.
We're lonely. We just want you to come in.
But yeah, no, they would have their sales like just, hey, this thing is going to be $12 on Black Friday.
Yeah.
We've got 4 of them now if you
Yeah.
want to try to buy one.
Well, the good part about all these sales
Mm-hmm.
is we got a lot of new stuff to talk about.
We sure do.
Yeah. Start off. Let's just get with one of the newest ones. Wolfenstein II, The New Colossus.
Yeah.
The Two Colossus.
First-person shooter.
It is, yes.
It is a sequel.
In the grand style.
Wolfenstein 1, The New Order.
And a sequel
to
the other Wolfensteins
Wolfenstein,
before it.
The Old Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I started Wolfenstein 1 just because I was going to try and catch up to this one. And I was like, Chuck loaned me 2. Everyone likes 2. I'll just dive into 2.
Smart.
Yeah.
Especially for the purpose of this podcast.
Yeah.
I hear that it is recommended that you play on baby mode.
Correct.
Yeah, I put it on baby mode.
That is the way to do it. I played half that game on 3rd out of 6 difficulties, and
Okay.
it can get fucked at that difficulty.
Honestly, Wolfenstein 1 was like that for me, where it was
Yeah.
just like I was playing on whatever the middle one was. I think whatever it defaults to, I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll do the normal mode.
I guess that's why I bounced off of that one so hard. Because I played like 20 minutes and just was like, fuck that. I'm
Yeah.
doing anything else. Anything else.
See,
That comes back.
the problem with Wolfenstein is that it gives you such motivation to just power fantasy murder everything, but then the game is fucking brutal. Like, the game never gives... If you
As
play
in difficulty.
Yes, if you play on anything else besides baby mode, it is just like, okay, I'll give a perfect example of this. There's a point in the game about halfway through that some shit goes down, and so much shit goes down that you were like, if I break free from this predicament that I'm in, I'm gonna fucking murder every motherfucker in this room hard. Like, it is really motivating you to kill. Like, more so
Well,
than...
the cutscene that starts the second level.
Yes, but more so than that. Like, it goes for it real hard at this point, and I was just like, okay, give me a gun, and I have to murder everyone in this room. And then that happens. You get a gun, and then it's time to murder everyone in the room, and I died like 40 times. And it was at that point where I was like, you know what? No, baby mode. I need to be able to power through this. And you still aren't powering through it. You're still having to play a video game. Like, baby mode is normal mode in any other video game.
Mm-hmm.
So baby mode just lets you live.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
It is. It really is. I was still dying in baby. You
I
were going to
haven't died
die.
yet.
You were going to die.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 4 levels in, and
Okay.
I haven't died yet.
You're
so.
going to.
All right. I will take your word for it.
You will.
But I did put it on baby mode, which they denote with an actual BJ wearing a baby bonnet
Mm-hmm.
and a pacifier in his mouth picture.
I think
That's
that goes.
BJ of House Blaskowitz,
Yeah.
not me.
I think that goes all the way back to the original.
Yeah,
It
I'm
does.
pretty sure
It goes back to
does.
Because
Wolf
like
3D,
your
not
little,
the original.
yeah, your little
Yes.
head character.
The original one that mattered.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will say this, man, they get you primed to murder some Nazis. Like,
yes.
and the thing is, I played through the first level, which, okay, whatever. You're in a wheelchair for that level, which is, funny thinking that when we talked about the Surge and how that starts with you in a wheelchair. And
I
it's
was
like,
trying to remember what that.
yeah, and we're like, man, it would be cool if they had that level where, hey, you can't navigate it because you need a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually do some fun things with that premise
It's
in
pretty
that
cool.
level.
Yeah.
And then they drop you into that cutscene that starts the second level,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess would matter more to me if I had completed the first game and met some of the characters involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my wife was watching. She happened to come in as that cutscene started, and I was like, "This is not going to go well," because I knew like this is a game that's not going to shy away from any sort of violence, and they certainly didn't. And I actually turned my character away from certain things that happened in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also the flashback stuff, which she didn't see that.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just the cutscenes in that game get you pissed off.
Mhm.
And you're like, all right, I need to not be helpless right now. You need to give me control of this so I can fucking do something now. And they're very good at that. And they're very good at continuing to push that and then continuing to push further past that.
Yeah.
And then finally getting you to the point where it's like, all right, time to murder Nazis. But then you play the level, and if the difficulty's too high, it sucks because the Nazis are just murdering the shit out of you. But to me, my problem with the game is you've primed me to kill Nazis, and it's just kind of like they feel like any other enemy in any other game. Like they have Nazi personality in the cutscenes, and like nowhere else. They're just random. Okay, dude, I'm shooting again. Dude, I chopped his legs off with one hatchet, and then stabbed him in the neck with that hatchet.
Yeah.
There's a certain disconnect that shows up there between, all right, let's fucking do this, and then it's kind of like once you get to the guys, it's like, okay.
I would agree with that.
At least until I got the gun that melts things.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't even care what I'm melting. I'm melting shit.
Yeah, the guns are pretty good once you get all the guns.
Yeah.
I can level them up and dual wield them.
Yeah, and shooting down sights is a little odd. Like, it feels like I'm almost more accurate shooting from the hip,
Yep.
if that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. That's
And I don't understand it.
because I don't think these are very good video games. I mean, they don't feel like you are actually controlling them at all. Like, you feel like you're pointing a thing in a direction and pushing a button and hoping that it's like roll the dice and computer game goes, you win. I do not get the love. I still do not get the love. I even understand the Doom love more than I do the new Wolfensteins.
And see, I was more motivated to play this than I was.
No,
Doom.
I mean, yes, I feel like the two games need to get together and make one good one because Doom has all of the control and game part down, except that everything is samesies, and this is like everything where you're not moving a guy around is interesting and well done, and as soon as you start controlling him, it's, in my opinion, pretty terrible. And I just don't get why everybody is so in love with these. I guess it's story over anything else. I think it's got to be. But
I mean, the story is certainly motivating.
Sure,
a lot.
But I would rather watch Wolfenstein the movie than try to play these games because they're infuriating. Like I just feel like I have absolutely no control over anything that's happening.
Well, it's also, I think part of that, at least in my feeling, tangentially to what you're saying, is it's like modern shooters, and I think why I've strayed away from modern FPSs is the enemies you're shooting blend into the environment, and you don't know that they're shooting at you until you're being hit. And even then, it's not like the hit detection isn't as good as some games are. Like there are obviously other games that are very good at letting you know which direction things are coming from, whereas this one, it feels like, oh, I'm getting hurt.
Yeah, this game really feels like the only way you know that you're taking damage is that the number is going down.
Yeah,
like there's not.
I mean,
visual
there is a flash on the screen, but it's
little bit,
subtle.
but there's a million things on the screen that are flashing, like in the environment. It's like so many times you will just end up dead, and you're like, how?
Yeah, and part of the thing with Nazis is they're wearing black, and they tend to blend in with a lot of these dark environments. You know, and that's an issue with the first one that I had as well, where I'm going around going, where the fuck did he come from? You know, I mean, there's a lot of that, but I can accept that because it's like, oh, reinforcements came in, but, you know, the guy wasn't there before. You know, it's not like, you know, I cleared out that area. There shouldn't be anyone there. You know, it's like, no, they came out of this other area.
And, I mean, it gets real dumb later, too, where, like, the supernatural stuff kicks in and like, the Nazis are zipping around the room like the Human Torch, just, you know, like, now I'm pure energy, now I'm over here. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? It's like, I can't even aim at you. I mean, I get all that, but to me, it's like, okay, so like Destiny 1 that I played for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 hours before I said, fuck this is not what I'm interested in. Destiny 1 has amazing shooting. Like, the shooting in that game feels really good. Like, if I would say 90% of the people who, like, weren't obsessed with Destiny but played a lot of Destiny, the first thing they would say is that the shooting in that game is really good. But the story in that game is non-existent. It doesn't matter. And I dropped out of it because I didn't care about what I was doing. So it's a weird trade-off now to where the story is motivating me to do all the things, but the things aren't as good as games should be, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like we've gotten to a point where the shooting stuff should be better.
Yeah, and there's also, like, I'm a guy who likes to melee dudes as soon as I get close to him. Like, I could shoot him in the face and take him out, but it's like, no, I'm close enough. I'm going to melee. And the melee never seems to work quite right unless you're sneaking on a guy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're running face-to-face, you somehow miss him, and then he immediately butts you with his gun, and you're about to die.
Yeah.
It's an odd disconnect there.
I think the melee stuff in this game is only meant for stealth. Like, you're not supposed to use it when you're running around doing stuff.
Yeah.
Because you will get gun butt to the face.
So. And maybe that's just like playing Doom being the most recent shooter that I had played before this one, and Doom like being like, no, you want to melee these things because they're gonna burst open like a pinata and give you ammo and shit.
Yeah, fun things bust out of them.
Yeah,
the only fun thing that busts out of the Nazis when you do that is blood.
Yeah,
so
it is fun to bust blood out of Nazis.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, and some of those kills are just
goddamn. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's more the story than anything that's really driving all of this, and I feel that way about the first one too. Even though the first one is like, there's one bit of ridiculousness that I have to talk about is that, like, you know, you do the first couple missions and you end up, basically the mission fails and you end up in a hospital, and you know you're in a coma, and you just wake up and you stab a Nazi in the neck, and then you're like off to the races, running and gunning things. You've been in a coma for 15 years. You find out after this. Yeah. You come out of that coma fucking jacked. You are like goddamn bodybuilder.
You're a human specimen.
Like you stumble out of your wheelchair and go, "Oh, got to learn to walk again." It's like, yeah, you do. But after that, you're like, "Nope, run and gun, motherfuckers." Like there's just there's so much.
It's goofy.
Yeah, there's so much ludicrous wish fulfillment stuff that they can't even like I don't know. Like that part was just like, what? Mm-hmm. Like as soon as they showed him, like over the years there, and I'm like, what kind of massage was she giving him that he's like more jacked than me, who's been working out 3 times a week for 2 years and doesn't even look close to that.
It's just in the Blazkowicz DNA, man. You just are fucking jacked.
Yeah.
You're just still anger pumping through your blood.
And then the second one, okay, another thing that's really weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to design a power suit that your character is going to have to wear through the game, I'm assuming through the rest of the game, I don't know, I'm not far enough, but he's wearing it now because he's, I guess, got hurt at the end of the first one and can't walk right.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you make it look exactly like Isaac's suit from Dead Space? Like, even with the shield that kind of builds itself up over his face, to me, it's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
And it's distracting because it's like, he's wearing Isaac's outfit.
It's like it was a DLC bonus.
Yeah.
Like pre-order Wolfenstein and get Isaac's armor.
It's really weird. And it's just like, did none of you guys play it? Or did you think like nobody would notice?
Maybe it's based
that one
on
of
something.
The best games of the last generation used like basically this exact same design for their main character.
Maybe it's based on actual specs of some kind.
Maybe, but it just feels weird. And but you know what? Then give it different colors.
Yeah.
Make that motherfucker red, white, and blue because you're fighting for the USA that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You know, do something like that with it. But it's weird to me. I that part was like as soon as he put it on, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's distracting. But I'm enjoying the story stuff. But yeah, the game stuff is kind of, it's that weird point because it's like, it's either way too hard or way too easy.
Yes.
And I don't understand how you can have like 6 difficulty levels and still have that happen.
That's why when I picked the third one, I was like, well, this obviously can't be that hard. There's 3 more above it. Let's have some challenge. Because it was like, this is standard difficulty for someone who's played a video game before. I'm like, yeah, that's me. I could do that. No, that's it. No. You have to play it on baby mode. But look, listen. The story in that game fucking goes places. Like, there was a point that most games don't do this, where I just set down the controller and I'm just like, holy shit. That last 10 minutes just happened and it's fucking insane. There's a moment in this that is so goddamn insane that they try to do another insane thing 10 minutes later, and you're kind of like, nah, man. You just went for it 10 minutes ago. This ain't it.
Can't
like
keep going for
this
it.
should have been in like the 3rd game. I can't believe you're trying to do this now. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I want to play through the story, but I kind of get where Harlow's coming from, where it's just there are more. I hate to put it this way, but there are shooters that are more fun out there.
Yeah,
I think I'm coming to the realization. I think I don't like FPSs, pure FPSs anymore. I think I prefer the hybrid, like when I'm walking around, it's 3rd person, and then when I aim down sights, it goes 1st person. Because I feel like my biggest problem with Wolfenstein is just I know people talk about like depth of field and everything all the time, and I just feel like I'm tunnel visioning like everything. Like I should be able to see to the side more without like having to turn and look at everything. And I don't know. I just like I'm just thinking like Ghost Recon Wildlands. I was about to name like games that do shooting better, like Ghost Recon Wildlands, any Gears of War, but they're all hybrids. Like when you go into sniper mode, it's 1st person, but everything else is over the shoulder.
Yeah.
And I just think maybe that's like working for me better nowadays. But then again, I love Far Cry, and the Far Cry has stealth, and it's in 1st person mode. So I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just everything shooty wise feels completely off. And then they try to make you do 3D platforming bullshit from time to time too. Like jump up here. No, I don't want to.
Rather not.
Yeah.
Nah.
Where's push button to climb? Because I don't know. I mean, I've let a couple other games go ahead of this because I just wasn't feeling it, and like it's one of those games. Like the more distance I put between it, the less I feel compelled to go back to it, even on baby mode. I forced myself to finish the first one. I never played. What was it? The Old Blood? Is that the in between thing?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Old Blood isn't necessarily a story sequel. It's more of like a what if kind of thing because the Old Blood's fucking insane.
Mhm.
It's all insane. I mean,
I mean, at least they're going for insane.
Sure.
yes. I mean, I will say, like, I'm pretty sure, like, the Saints Row stuff was the pinnacle of, I can't believe they're doing this in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Wolfenstein II is now the new pinnacle of what? Like, if this was just a CG movie, you would look at it and go, what dumb anime bullshit is this? But somehow in a video game, you're like, this is the best shit ever.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, they give you a laser gun that melts dudes.
Yes.
And melts the boxes that the dudes are hiding behind.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
the railings they're hiding behind, all that
Yeah,
shit.
because Jen also watched me play that part, and she's like, "You need to calm down." I'm like, "No," because I mean, I picked up that big hefty thing, and I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "You need to not get a murder boner right now. You're weirding me out. I don't know who I married."
Okay, so
Watch.
I've played far enough to get that. If that didn't click for me, is it just never going to happen?
Like, gameplay-wise?
Well, I just picked that thing up. I was like, oh, here's this thing. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm literally whelmed by everything that has happened thus far in the game. And you're talking about, like, the opening.
And keep in mind, I'm playing on the easiest mode,
no,
so I'm just like, it's like basically doing ID DQD on
Yeah.
Doom. It's like, all right, time to murder everything.
I'm not trying to be flippant or whatever. I'm saying, like, I'm being honest. Like, if up to this point, the things that have happened that I'm not, obviously, it's a video game. I want to go murder the Nazis in general. Nothing is like, wow, now I really need to go murder the Nazis anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if nothing's clicking for me at this point, is it just not going to happen?
Cause you and I talked about this.
Okay.
Back after we'd played like for a week, and we were
Sure.
both kind of at the same spot, and we were like, "Boy, this kind of sucks." You will feel that the weapons aren't powerful enough on the mode that you're playing, because once I switched to baby mode, it's not that the dudes die quicker; it's just you feel more powerful, and therefore you kind of do more damage. It's a different sensation. I'll say that. You should maybe play through a level on the dumb mode and just see if it changes how you feel at all.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, early on there's some bad game design, like we were talking about, like the stuff in New York where you're going through collapsed building, and it's like I can't really tell what floor I'm supposed to be on, what direction I'm going. It's not very clear where the objective is.
I will say I like the map. The map's very easy to read, but a lot of the level design gets me turned around so that I need the map.
Yes,
because I'm like, wait, I think I was in this room already. And it's yes, you were.
yes,
but objective to objective a lot of time, like even just that level where it's like, all right, go through the sub and release the one thing, and then go to the other place to open the door to the armory, and then do that, and and you're like, well, wait, I thought I was right there.
Yeah,
it's one of those like, okay, backtrack to this things.
There's a thing too where you're supposed to be able to hit down on the D-pad and it'll put your objective on the screen for a second. Sometimes it just doesn't do it. And you're like, well, what? It'll make the noise like it did it. And you're like, well, where is it? And you never see it. So.
Quality. No, I mean, there's been one thing in the cutscene so far that's like resonated with me. And that's scientist guy basically going on and on about some gun. And then BJ basically just goes, this end, point this in toward Nazis?
Yeah.
Cool, goodbye.
Yes. Yeah.
This end kill, and he goes, this end kill Nazis?
Yeah. Okay, so one more thing. This could be the last thing we say about it. So you have to recreate a choice that you made in the first Wolfenstein. You do that at the beginning of the game.
Yes.
And that dictates where the story goes. From my understanding, the story is radically different depending on which person you picked.
I couldn't even remember which person I picked.
Okay.
I remember because I had only done it a few days earlier.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't exactly sure, and I ended up picking the dude to live who died in the first game. But the dude that I picked to live apparently has the best storyline, because what happens to him along the way is fucking amazing. And I can't fathom how they do that story with how they do a different story entirely. Like, I want to go back and play it with the other guy, because they're not doing the same storytelling. But I want to see how completely different those cutscenes have to be, because it's not even close.
Yeah, because the first one isn't the difference. Like, basically, you get better lock picking skills if you pick one of them, and like
Yeah, it's purely bullshit.
better
in
weaponry
the first
if
game.
you pick the
This
other
one,
guy.
it doesn't have any bearing on anything except that the story is radically different.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway,
We should probably stop talking about this one. I played Assassin's Creed Origins.
that's the new one.
I got back to Assassin's Creed, everyone. After well, you know, I was
You're playing the origin story.
one of the biggest fans of this series up through 3. Like I even like Revelations, I 100%ed that, and that's not a great game. 3 is where I was like, all right, I don't think I can fucking do this anymore, and just kind of quit on it. And Black Flag, I got part of the way through, and then I was like, man, like all I wanted to do was hunt like the big deal ships. And I was like, oh man, I need to fucking take on Blackbeard. And then Blackbeard would be like, all right, one hit, destroy my ship. And I'm like, I don't want to grind to get a better ship. Like I don't want to.
360 no scoped you.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But so then you know, Unity and Syndicate, I own them, but I haven't played either of them really. I played Unity for like an hour and said, huh, none of the faces popped off like that one video that was, you know, someone who hadn't updated their drivers or whatever.
That sank the whole franchise.
Yeah, God. But anyway, yeah, Origins. It's not the reinvention that they want you to think it is, but it's made a lot of improvements that make it a different type of game. Because it basically, the main storyline is going to be the same type of thing where it's like, all right, you know, here are your targets. Here's you know, you're climbing up the ladder of all these bad guys to get the lead bad guy that you want to take down. You know, that stuff is, it's presented well. You know, it's well done, but the side stuff is really where this game shines because you're going through ancient Egypt, which you would think would just be deserts and pyramids, right? But no, there's a lot of like lush jungle area in there. It's just, there's a lot of variety in the environments themselves. But you get to a side story, and it's kind of like, all right, you get into town, and this guy's like, man, thieves, they stole all my grain, and you got to help me go get it back. You know, and in most of the other ones, you go, all right, I'm going to go to the thief hideout, stab, 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 stabby, stab, stab, and okay, bonus quest completed. You know, and then that would be it.
Right.
You know, and the guy wouldn't even have anything to say. He would just suddenly start wandering around the area after, you know, like...
He would just turn and go back to...
Yeah, just suddenly go back into his idle
NPC
animation
mode,
of doing, you know, and that would be that. Whereas this one, it's like, okay, you know, you go there and stab, stab, stabby, stab all the guys, but then you'll find someone hidden in the cage, you know, someone who's in a cage who's like, God, help me, let me out, they captured me. You let them out, and they go, okay, well, my brother, there's another group that they've taken him, and you need to go see if you can find, you know, it basically one quest leads to another.
So they're just chained together.
Kind of.
Okay.
But I mean, there are actual stories that develop as you go through some of them, which is very different. And like some of them are actual like storylines with, you know, like the difference is it's named characters that you want to do stuff with, and it gives the world a lot of flavor. That's not just, all right, these are NPCs wandering around in their little circle, and when I interact with them, they might do something, but as soon as I leave, that world ends. You know, they kind of, it goes a lot further towards selling the illusion of, okay, this is a world populated with people that have lives that go on when you're not around.
How important is the main quest to where doing these side stories feels stupid? Like, are you saving Egypt?
No.
Okay.
No. It is more like, basically...
It's not Mass Effect 3.
Basically, the Pharaoh... No, yeah. It's not like that. Because you are what is... Medjai is the name of what you are, which is kind of like... It's kind of like an ancient Egyptian sheriff, almost, but like a freelance sheriff. Like, if you were like a... If you were kind of like a cross between like a bounty hunter and a sheriff who like... You're basically just a do-gooder. Like,
Okay.
like you wander into town and people are like... You know, but they know what you are. They know, like, you wear a badge that says you're a Medjai, and they go, "Oh, you're a Medjai. Like, you know, this needs solving." You know, so you're kind of like this detective, bounty hunter, sheriff guy, like all kind of rolled into one.
Okay.
You know, you're like a freelance hero.
Okay,
almost. It's
sure.
kind of it's hard to explain. But
Hero for hire.
You're a Witcher.
yeah, I think I mean, there's a lot of Witcher influenced stuff because
Okay.
you know, like the side quests lead to things that. You know, you thought it was just going to be, oh, I'm just going to go here and do this, and then I'll get back to the main quest. Whereas it's like, no, this led to this thing, and there's a whole bunch of, you know, like I have a quest log that's like 18 things deep now, currently, and
Right.
there's recommended levels and all that because the The big change is leveling up and the loot.
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
they'll sell you loot stuff, but you do not need it in any capacity whatsoever.
Is it just cosmetic or?
No, like your weapons, it's like playing any loot-based game where, it's all right, you got a better sword now, and this sword might do bleed damage or poison damage or something, and they have the normal, rare, legendary, that sort of stuff.
That seems like such a weird direction for Assassin's Creed to go.
It is, but I mean, it's not terrible, and it kind of makes sense for the way that they've changed the combat system, and there's 5 or 6 different types of weapons. So your combat, you might just get a big fucking mace that you're just clubbing dudes to death, but it's a big slow thing that you got to swing around. So your combat becomes slow, or you might do double daggers that are just, you're.
I just mean the
moving around
whole
quick.
like having not loot crates, because that's a dumb thing in and of itself, but
Yeah.
just having that constant loot drive in an Assassin's Creed game seems like it's kind of counter to what that series is supposed to be.
Not really, because when you were finding stuff before, it was basically, all right, I found this and it's got money, and that was it. It was like every box you ever found was just like, all right, this has 3,000 money. This one only has 50 money, and it was just kind of that. At least it gives you something where like, oh shit, I found this thing that was buried in a shipwreck on the bottom of this lake, and okay, that's a really sweet bow that does this. I mean, it kind of gives like searching areas that you want to complete, areas of interest, so to speak. It makes you want to search it to find the loot that's there, because it'll say, okay, there's like 2 treasures here, and there might be a little loot that's like, okay, here's 3 coins or whatever, but then you'll find one that's, okay, this is the loot chest, so to speak, and that one's going to have some kind of weapon in it that might be better than what you got, might not, but you can break it down for the materials that you need to upgrade your stuff, because it's basically got Far Cry crafting in it. We're like, okay, you got to craft your armor.
Oh, good. Loot and crafting.
Yeah.
It's a Ubisoft game.
Guess what?
Yeah,
Get used to video games.
I know.
Because that's what
I know.
every fucking video game is now.
This is why I only play one a year.
Yeah.
Because I can only handle so much of this shit.
Yeah. But the big problem is the combat sucks. Just straight up.
Oh well.
Combat in this game is bad.
Well, it's going to be a theme for this show.
I know. But they basically tried to do Dark Souls combat where it's, okay, your left bumper is your block, your right bumper is your light attack, and your right trigger is your strong attack, which if you hold it down, it'll charge up, and that's how you bust through people's shields. And also, if you're blocking, if you time your B press correctly, you'll parry the guy, which leaves him open to get hit. So it's kind of doing the Dark Souls thing, but the problem is the lock-on targeting is atrocious. Like, if the lock-on targeting worked, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but the lock-on targeting is basically like Dark Souls. When you click the right stick in, targets the guy in the middle, and if you tap the stick left, okay, jumps over to the guy to the left of him. Tap it right, jumps to the guy to the right. You can cycle through your targets that way. This one, you have to aim directly at where that guy is, and if the guy comes running at you, which they all do, and tries to get behind you, you have to turn the camera to target him, instead of it keeping him in the center of your viewpoint if you've locked onto him, which it should. No, it just means, okay, I'm targeting this guy instead of, oh, the other guy that ran up and is in the middle of my view now. It's just, it's so bad. I can't even... The only reason I don't care about it now is because I've leveled up enough that I found a legendary axe that just murders everything in like 3 hits. But it's still like when you run into a pack of lions, which happens.
Sure.
You die.
Well, okay.
You'll die because you can't kill all of them, and they attack quickly, and they're always jumping behind you, and the combat's just bad, which is sad because everything else I really, really like about this game. I really love the environment, wandering around. I really enjoy that the plot is basically there's the Pharaoh, but then there's Cleopatra who was deposed, and you're kind of working with Cleopatra.
Oh.
To
So she's the famous person.
Yeah.
You're palling around. She's the Da Vinci of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're also doing kind of like the Tomb Raider thing because, hey, these are, there's pyramids and there's burial areas. And apparently your guy doesn't care about looting tombs or any of that stuff because he's like, all right, give me the loot. And some of them, they give you ability points, which, you've got your whole skill tree that when you level up, you get ability points to pick on skills that you want.
Of course.
And that sort of thing,
Mhm.
because, again, it's a video game.
It's a video game, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it looks nice. It's a really well-built game that just doesn't have issues. I mean, I've had it do some weird hard locks on me a couple times, or it'll do the weird Xbox thing where it'll go, brrrr, and then all of a sudden it'll unlock.
Yeah.
And then it's just, okay, we're good. So, I mean, and that's the worst thing I've had, but...
That might be an Xbox thing, because Wolfenstein was doing that to me.
Yeah.
Well, it does that if you resume anything, ever. Like if you shut
Really?
it off in mid-game, and even if it says resume, it's always max headrooms in for a while, and then eventually, even on the new one.
I'm talking about, like, you will play through... I've been playing for like an hour, and then all of a sudden you just do something, like a cutscene will start, and it'll just let out this just ear-piercing buzz, and then crash to
I've
desktop.
had that in other games. Yeah.
So...
Yeah. But that's been like the only issue. And
Okay.
I don't have a 4K TV or HDR or any of that stuff, but game still looks damn good.
Cool.
And man, I like my character.
That, yeah.
I like him because he's got the proper motivation, but he's also, his wife is involved in it, but she's not like around all the time because she's working with Cleopatra and doing other stuff and kind of like having her own thing going on. And
her own adventures.
Oh, kind of, yeah. There's some of them that you actually switch over to her.
Oh, cool.
And there is stuff outside the Animus that feels more like the stuff I liked in the original, Desmond era Assassin's Creed games, where it's like, all right, I'm actually doing third-person action adventure stuff, in modern times. So that stuff I like, even though it's very short and there's a laptop with a whole bunch of information on it that kind of parses some of the things that are going on in the game. Because you can read the laptop and you see the notes that they have about everything that's going on, like what you've experienced, especially when you start experiencing the futuristic technology stuff that you will find that eventually in some of the pyramids, and one of them is part of a story mission, but it's like, kind of like that scene at the end of Assassin's Creed 2 where it's like, okay, hey, I'm talking to you now, person holding the controller over there, and it's less that, it's more like, here's a broadcast from the future. In the middle of this temple, so that part's cool. And then they also have some interpretations of that, like what your character in modern times in the game, how that character is interpreting what they've been told through that section of it. Because it's basically like somebody's laptop with all their notes about, all right, here's all the shit I did in the Animus. So, yeah, it's a very likable game that sadly has some combat that sucks. But man, it's also got a huge ass map. Because that's like,
it's got a bunch of icon vomit all over it.
No, not really.
No?
No. And I mean, and when you unlock the towers, it basically just gives you fast travel to that point.
Oh, okay.
It's not like it was where it's like, all right, I got to the top of the tower and it threw Skittles all over the map now. It's not like that. And I think that's part of how the sub quest, the side quest thing has helped the game in that you're just, all right, I'm going to this point with an exclamation, and then that's going to erase, and that's going to lead to another point with an exclamation, down the line.
So answer me this last question.
Okay.
Are there hay bales that you can dive into?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Then I must play this game.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do in Assassin's Creed games is climb things.
And some people have told me, like they said, hey, switch the controls for the fighting to the face buttons. I had played too much of the game the normal way. The default control way to do that.
Right.
And I was just like running around the town stabbing people by accident because I had switched the controls wrong. And I was like, oh shit. Oh, damn it. Oh, yeah.
Hello, citizen. Stab.
Yeah, because like you'll hit Y to talk to somebody. And when you switch it, Y is your attack button.
Sure.
So you walk up to it, do it. Hello, sir.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So people will say, like, if you're going to do that early on. Do it quick, because otherwise you'll get too used to doing everything the other way, and you'll murder innocents, which you don't want to do.
Makes sense.
It's just a computer. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Hmm.
But I like the game. I don't think it's gonna like convert you to something. But man, Assassin's Creed, yes, I'm all in on it. It's kind of more of the same stuff. It's just better side quests and combat. That after how many games is this? 10 Assassin's Creed games at least.
Yeah, at least.
How have they not had good combat yet? That's what I can't figure out. They keep redoing it every game, and every game it's bad.
All you need to do is just get that Batman combat.
And they kind of did. I think 2 was the one that had
Yeah.
Batman combat, kind of. But they just don't do that anymore. I don't know.
Bat.
Yeah. They took all the wrong lessons from copying Dark Souls combat.
Well, speaking of wrong lessons,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about Need for Speed Payback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chuck, the lone Need for Speed person left on Earth.
Yeah, so like everyone in this room bailed on Need for Speed a long time ago. I was the one holdout
Mm-hmm.
every year. We're like, Need for Speed's okay, you guys. You should maybe play it when it's free.
Mm-hmm.
So Need for Speed took a year off last year, like Assassin's Creed did. You know, so they can come back strong with a really great, terrific Need for Speed title.
Yeah.
I am ready to say I think I'm done with Need for Speed games.
Wow.
And I'm here to say that I think EA will be done with Need for Speed games.
Wow.
I don't see this franchise continuing unless they give it to somebody else. Need for Speed Payback is a bad game. It is a bad video game.
It must be atrocious.
It
For
is.
you to say a racing game is a bad game.
It is a bad game. This is the first Need for Speed I will not buy. Not buy.
I mean, like, you must push, like, right trigger and your wheels fall off. Like, I'm serious. So, like,
Well,
I'm just trying to define what is a broken racing game to you.
I have heard why. I'm curious what you're going to say.
Well, okay, several reasons. One, I don't think the Frostbite engine is good for racing because it's obviously an arcade style racer, but the racing feels like kind of Dragon's Lair-ish. Like you're not really in control of anything. You're just kind of
Also, like Most Wanted, the old one.
Maybe Most Wanted. I feel like I had a lot more control over.
Like Razor Callahan.
yeah, I feel like I
okay.
had control in Most Wanted.
That felt like a Dragon's Lair game for me. For
Well,
the racing part.
This just does it never feels right. It never feels like I'm still burned on Burnout basically, where it's just like, man, Burnout feels really good even though you go 200 miles an hour and lose control and crash into some steps or something, but
Yeah, but it feels like it takes a lot to lose control.
it does. Yes. This just feels junky in a way that doesn't feel like you're playing an arcade racer. It feels like you're playing a Telltale racing game.
Oh God.
Oh. Holy shit.
It's strange.
the worst thing I
30%
could've
of
said.
players chose turn left.
Yeah. So I was in the 70%. I went right. The story is utter garbage. Like from the first 5 seconds, I was like, this is worse than The Crew. The Crew told a story better than this.
Is there any Razor Callahan?
No. God,
Okay.
no.
Hmm.
There's none of that. There's no FMV. It is just poorly rendered dudes and dudettes, all of whom have been given dialogue written by people who are not native English speakers. So it's got that
What?
this person is saying slang in a totally incorrect way, but they're
Oh.
saying it confidently. So it's like there were only 3 people in whatever European place this VO was recorded in, and they're just like, yeah, that's how it's written on the page. Just say it. And
You better 23 skidoo.
no, that's accurate. They're saying something like, you better 22 pajamas out of my way. And it's like, well, hold on. Did you just 23 skidoo in cat's pajamas and what? But I mean,
Yeah.
like, your guy, like the main guy, Tyler, is just a piece of shit. Like, your character fucking sucks.
Oh, his name is Tyler. So I mean,
Yeah. And he's just,
fucking millennials.
every race he's in, he's just, because everyone in Need for Speed has this magical radio that just communicates with anyone else who's in the race with them. And it's just, he's constantly just like, I'm Tyler and I'm the best. You get out of my way. I'm going to race you. It's just like, the fuck is this? How is this man a functional adult?
I'm gonna race you.
So he's like a character from Crazy Taxi almost.
Kind of. It's just, it's my heart just sank when I started playing this. I was like, oh man, here we go. Year off of Need for Speed. This is the good one. And it was just like, this is bad. This is a bad game. It's a bad racing game. Do not buy.
Wow.
Which
And
probably means it's awesome.
And you haven't even talked about the microtransactions.
Oh, it's fucking littered with microtransactions.
And they're all of the caliber of, all right, get it. You need enough gears to purchase. To purchase cards to maybe get an engine upgrade. Maybe you get brake upgrades.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe you get tire upgrades.
Yeah.
And they dish them out at such a low rate that you will be playing this game for an eternity, unless you maybe give us like $10 and buy some Need for Speed credits.
They wanted you to buy some Need for Speed points to turn them into spins on the slot machine that maybe you can get +9 brakes, and then you'll qualify for this story race that otherwise you can never do.
From everyone that I've heard that's played it, it's worse than Battlefront 2.
Okay.
Like people made a bigger deal about Battlefront 2, but this is like a single-player game where basically all your progress is gated, as well as having timed shops that you have. Okay, come back in 10 minutes when we have new stock.
Yeah.
So you might not even get what the fuck you want the first time you go.
Yep.
So now you got to go grind some more credits for 10 minutes and come back to see if maybe your thing's there, but probably not because you haven't spent money yet.
And here's the weird thing, too. What they apparently did with their year off was that they played some Project Gotham Racing, because there's basically kudos in this game for doing stuff. And they played some Forza Horizon, because you go around and you find barn finds, and then you drive. But apparently when you find a barn find, it's just a fucking shell. So you have to go to every fucking trailer park in this desert wasteland and find, like, the fan belt and, you know... the fucking car horn and like 5 components of the junker car to take back to your buddy for him to put him in the car blender, and all of a sudden you got a functional car.
And then you got to upgrade it once you get there.
Yeah, because it's a piece of shit when he puts it together. It's like the
Need for Speed pickers.
I mean, your rating for the car is like 2 when it's assembled, and then you got to put all the shit. It's just, man, fuck off. Just fuck off, Need for Speed. Just go away. I'm done. I'm done with you. You are a bad video game series. I've hung on to you for far too long.
At least it gave us Razor Callahan.
Yeah, that was 2006.
Yeah, what was the last good one? The new Most Wanted? Or was it the launch one? What was that, Rivals?
No, Rivals is bad.
Okay.
Rivals is bad. The one that's
was
just called...
Was it good just because it was a launch game and we didn't have any other good launch games?
No, Rivals is bad.
Was never really good.
Rivals is the one that's always online, and then you get in there and you're like, what am I supposed to be doing? The game's not telling me anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
It looked good, but it did not play well.
Yeah. And then just Need for Speed, which was all FMV bullshit, was... That stuff was entertaining, but the driving was bad. So, yeah, I think the one...
second Most Wanted.
The one that was kind of like Burnout. That for half a second, like you
that
saw,
was basically Criterion made it.
because you saw like someone that you saw like the multiplayer, like you could go 8-player playlists, and it had a bunch of Burnout Paradise.
They
junk
tried
in
to
it.
make Burnout Paradise, but they removed all personality.
Yes. Yeah. So for like on the surface, you looked at it and go, "Wow, this is it. This is the game."
Yeah,
and
but because it was real cars, you couldn't crash them either.
Yeah.
Like if you crashed, your windshield might crack, but your frame.
Oh yeah, you'd be fine.
Yeah. Ugh.
So anyway, skip it. Do not play. Do not buy. Nothing. Okay.
All right, Harlow.
Oh,
God, I hope you have good things to say about this next game.
Well, I do. I mean,
thank God.
Unfortunately, I haven't played enough of it to talk too much about it, but what I have played is delightful and wonderful and everything that a video game should be. I played some Super Mario Odyssey.
That's a popular.
That's a Switch.
It is a Switch game.
It's a Switch, Mario.
I don't even know, like, because it's not world. I guess there are sort of areas, worlds, or whatever that you travel to. I'm just trying to think to tell you how far along I am.
Have you made it to New Donk City yet?
I have not yet.
All right.
I have heard all about New Donk City.
Yeah.
I too have listened to Idle Thumbs.
New Donk.
I'm just trying to think of what to say. I mean, it's Mario. I mean,
all right.
It's
step one.
You're kind of in or out that alone, and then I can tell you it's basically a modern, shiny version of Mario 64 with some, plenty of new bells and whistles.
Is that a good thing? I have never played a Mario 64.
That again, I'm laying it out there. Don't. Mario 64.
If you've
is
never
awesome.
played Mario 64, don't.
Oh, not now. No, not for the first time. No,
because Mario 64 is a bad game. I will go to bat for this.
Okay.
If you didn't play it at launch, it's a bad game.
It controls weird. Like I've tried to go back to it, and
it's
just
like
what
giant open spaces with like 3 enemies, and all they care about is you getting these stars that are fucking impossible to get to. And yeah,
Okay.
I genuinely feel that Mario 64 is a bad game that was only good because you had that in Pilot Wings. That's why everyone has such good memories of Mario 64.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm laying that out there.
Okay.
It's very much Mario 64 play style. Arguably, there's a lot more going on.
I would hope so.
I mean, you're still kind of chasing certain virtual currencies, if you will. Like you're not only you're getting coins, but then there's like, say, I'm terrible with Marios and Zeldas. Like I don't know what shit is called. I don't care enough to learn. Like it's called this. You have your standard gold coins, and then there's another coin that's more unique. I think it's like region coins or something.
Started. When did that start? That started.
Well, okay, so there were the red coins you would get. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you need to get 3 per level.
Yes.
But no, this is like another currency you're also collecting.
Oh, okay.
It's not just like here's your 3 challenge coins for the level. This is
Gotcha.
like you go and there's like region specific stuff.
Okay.
So,
So you have to get a certain amount of region coins to clear the region.
No, not like that. It's just like you can only spend them in this region.
Oh,
like
okay.
you can go and there's like shops to buy stupid things.
Okay.
Like you can basically dress Mario up in different clothing, and there's reasons to in certain instances. Like, I'm sure there are ways to get around pretty much everything because it's that kind of game. It's not like you have to go and find every single thing. They have peppered it with these power moons that you're collecting. I think you can get more on a level than you need to clear the level. So like there can be one as simple as like, well, I'm not very good at the running, climbing, jumping part, so I'm going to just go ahead and buy some festive mariachi style clothing, and then I will get invited to the secret mariachi party where they will give me one. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of like that. If you're good at the platforming and you don't want to worry with that bullshit, there's a way to get what you need to get past it.
So there's multiple ways to win.
Right.
Okay. That's
So,
good.
It would seem. Now someone may come along and be like, no, there's exactly 19 power moons on this level and you have to collect them all. I don't know. I mean, I'm saying like, I felt like I left some things on the table and I could go back and probably find some moons in the area before me. You know?
I guess that was going to be my question, because in trying to play, and I can't remember, it's been so long since we last recorded, but I tried to play New Super Mario 3D or 3DS or whatever they call it now.
3D World?
No,
okay.
no, the actual 2D.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it's just New Super Mario.
Super
3D.
Mario,
Yeah, in trying to play those, it felt less like I was trying to get through the level and more like I was just trying to collect enough things.
Yeah, and it almost.
And I don't know if this game's like that.
I think they've littered the world with so many things that you need to be able to get out that you don't have to just explore to get everything, but also you can.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But I know like the one you're talking about, it was
the 2D ones. I feel like they focus too much on collect these dozen things.
Yeah.
In this one run.
Yes.
You know, and that was why I just became bored of them, because like actually going through the level was easy. It was like, no, well you didn't beat the level. You know, you got to do all the other stuff to beat the level.
Right.
You know, and I didn't like that. That's where that focus had shifted to.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that philosophy has carried over to Odyssey. I mean, I know everyone's loving it. You know, I hear very few bad things about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard. The worst I've heard people say is it's another Mario game, and I think that's from people who are like, if you like a Mario,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and I think people just want something that's completely non-cynical about anything.
Yeah.
And that is certainly a game that's going to be like that. Where it's just like, you're playing a game. This is fun, right? And yeah, it can be.
Well, and I mean, it has the weird, disturbing take over the body of anything in the world power, which is new.
Yeah, like with the T-Rex on the commercial, I just want to do that.
Well, I was about to say, that's one of the first things they let you do.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, I mean, like, there's little things like, okay, do this, and you know, like you'll just scare an enemy kind of thing, like by throwing a hat, and then one of the first times it's like full-on possession. It's like there's a sleeping T-Rex up on the top of this hill. Take over him, and he can go crashing through blocks that you previously couldn't get through. So, so they give you what you want pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smart. It's good on 'em.
Give me what I want.
But yeah, I mean, it's just charming. I mean, it's the kind of game from like a bygone time in a good way. it's just it's new and it's shiny, but it's like this is wholesome and fun and nothing about this feels gross.
So it's like it's
yeah,
like
there's not like Mario was the real villain all along. Type,
No,
type
or
shit.
just
no
anything. like,
grimdark bullshit. It's
No.
just a good Mario.
yeah, it's not grim. It's not microtransaction. It's it's a full-fledged fucking game that you can buy.
We're
And
gonna
they're
call
like-
those good Marios from now on.
Yeah, and there hasn't been like a Mario in this vein since what, Galaxy 2, I guess, on the Wii. There wasn't a proper 3D Mario on the Wii U. I mean,
Oh.
Yeah, there
World kind of is, but that was kind of a different thing because you were
Galaxy,
kind of
wasn't it?
Galaxy was on the Wii. Galaxy
Oh.
2
Yeah.
was on the Wii. I think
Yeah.
Galaxy 2 was the last one of these, and that was probably 5 years ago at least.
Yeah.
Because like New Super Mario World or Super Mario 3D World and Super Mario 3D Land. Land was the 3DS one. World was the Wii U one.
Yes.
They were kind of 3D, but they were very like you had to. It's like you were in a cube, and you had to kind of move the cube around to get to all the places. It wasn't a proper like this is a world. It's just like you're in a box. You're in a sandbox, and you've got this so many grid spaces that you can explore.
Yeah.
And you got to find the 3 red coins, or you don't get to move on. So yeah, just like a Super Mario 64 kind of game they haven't made in a while. So good on them. I'm happy that Nintendo has found some success again.
Well, and the thing I think I like about the Mario series is even if I don't like how they play, they're still doing a different mechanic each time. You know, like Sunshine had that paint gun thing, and which I know a lot of people hated, but there were people that like that. You know, and Galaxy had the whole gravity thing as far as jumping between worlds, which really made for some fun game-breaking video stuff.
Yeah.
You know, with people who really know their shit. And this one with the hat thing, where it's like, all right, I'm going to possess this man in New Donk City who is now a Mario man or something. I don't know.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I appreciate that they do different stuff with it each time.
Yeah, those Nintendo folks can make good games.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like to me it's just pick your poison. Like Zelda, even with Breath of the Wild, I like it and I appreciate its scope and its breadth. But like
Breath of the Wild.
yeah, but Mario is immediately my jam, whereas Zelda is like I feel like I'm constantly fighting a battle to understand everything because like I just don't. I've grown up with Mario. I mean, I've skipped some Marios along the way, but I still get it. Like Zelda to me is and probably always will be foreign to me. So
And maybe I'm the exact opposite of you in that regard. Because Zelda, I'm always in on them. I just hate that they try to tell me how to play it for so long at the beginning of each of them.
See, I played more Zeldas than Marios when I was a kid, but now I can't tell you the last Zelda I finished because I get so far into it and I'm just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore.
They all do have a point where it's just kind of meandering.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I know I need to do this thing, but...
I mean, I jammed through the Wind Waker forever and then got to whatever that part is where everyone dropped off.
sailing?
Yeah, where it's just like, I was like, okay, you were cute, Wind Waker. I'm done. I'm going to move on
Oh,
to
you don't like
something else.
sailing?
I do, but there was a part where you just had to sail like forever.
Yeah. You were just wandering.
Yeah. And it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So, BJ.
Speaking of possession
Yes.
that we were speaking of 2 minutes ago,
Yes.
you could say speaking of wandering.
there's, you know what? I will give this game that I'm about to talk about some credit. There's not much wandering. in it, thankfully. Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
What with all the fanfare and brickbats and bouquets being tossed at Shadow of War, I was like, hey, I got this Shadow of Mordor in a Humble Bumble or something, and I might as well go ahead and play it. And I played a little bit of it on stream, but that is a game that has my jams in it. And my jams are open world finding collectibles that I don't need to, just sort of wander around until I find. Many things to do, although some of them are the same. But I'll get to that. Batman-style combat, where I just get to beat the ever-loving fuck out of people.
They're not people, they're orcs.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Entities, however you want to describe it.
Humanoid creatures.
And I think that's about it. I mean, people kind of talked up Shadow of Mordor to death, especially the Nemesis system, about which I will say it almost doesn't matter. About 10 hours into that game, every once in a while you're going to get ambushed by 5 captains, and that's going to fuck up your whole like fantasy football roster of orcs. But aside from that, like, I'm injected this game directly into my veins, upgraded everything super fast, and just cruised through about 45% of this game.
Yeah, you're already like further than I was.
I'm already done with it.
Oh, you beat it?
I finished it on stream last night. So,
oh, okay,
yeah.
nice. I thought you were playing a different game on stream.
I started out finishing off Shadow of Mordor.
Okay.
And then once I defeated Shadow of Mordor, once I defeated the Shadow of Mordor,
That game ends real bad.
It does. It does.
It's a real bad ending.
I will say this: the story is bunk.
Yeah.
It is dumb.
Yes, it
It
is.
is dumb as shit. But getting to hear like a breathy Celebrimbor about 85 fucking times is kind of amusing.
Yeah,
Man, that story was real dumb, but I paid zero attention to it, so I could give a shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at a certain point you just forget why you're even doing it. You're just on muscle memory. You're like, all right, there's an orc, stab him in the neck.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got towards the end of the story, and I'm like, oh, that's my wife. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She got murdered in the first 9 seconds, and then I totally forgot about her while I was killing every orc in Mordor.
Without getting into specifics, doesn't it do a thing at the end that is unlike any of the game you've played? Like, isn't the final like confrontation a completely different gameplay than anything else?
The final fight is a quick time event.
That's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
It is 3 button presses. I won't spoil it. I mean, it's spoiling it for you, but it's not a big fucking deal. The final fight is 3 button presses.
Yeah.
You're fighting the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the realm.
Yeah.
And it's 3 button presses.
That's what I remember.
Him.
I remember like, this is real dumb, and this is unlike anything in the game before. What is this hot bullshit?
They don't even do something clever like, they strip out all your powers and you have to just use your dodge and whatever. No, it's just a fucking quick time event, man, and it is so dumb. But
everything else.
Yeah, this is a game that's about the journey.
Yeah.
And for Mackie, I know it's a little bit too samey because you're basically just going and beating up the orcs and finding the 2 different types of collectibles.
Yeah, and I think I also hit the point where everyone hits where you're like, man, I've only got like 2 dudes left on my Final Fantasy roster to take out, and then you die, and it's like 20 minutes of ka-chunk, 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 and I'm like, I was gonna spare Ugrug the Gentle. I was gonna spare him. I wasn't going to kill him.
But now I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not. I learned quickly not to obsess with putting all of my guys on injured reserve to carry that metaphor even farther, because I would find that when I would fast travel, they would sneak guys in there. They'd sneak new guys in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They wouldn't like any of the lower level captains. Those would get replaced, but they wouldn't like promote guys. They wouldn't do that whole Ugruk defeated knock or whatever. But they would sneak new guys in there. So it kind of I got to the point where I just didn't worry about it. If I came across them and wanted to murder them, I did. If not, But
yeah. So had you upgraded every power by the end?
I had upgraded every power almost by the time I got to the second area. Second of 2 areas.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man, holy shit.
Because I went and found everything.
Yeah.
Like in that first area.
Well, and that's the thing though, killing enemies, you could do that infinitely.
Yeah.
You could do that without even unlocking the second area. You could just keep killing captains.
Yeah, I think I had like
and getting revenge on people who killed your friends.
Right. Yeah, I did so much unnecessary bullshit before I went to the second area. I was so fucking overpowered in the second area.
Yeah.
It's just like it was just a bloodbath. But combat in that game is really good. Really, really good once you get everything unlocked and you're just a fucking torrent of pain for the Urukai. It's really satisfying. I played it on PC, and the fast travel is actually fast travel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you click the button and you're waiting 25 minutes for your Xbox to spin itself to death or whatever. I don't know how it is on the Xbox or PS4, to be fair, but
It's not. It doesn't take terribly long.
but it's real fast on PC.
Yeah.
Like, at least, I mean, my PC isn't the greatest, but if you hit that fast travel button, it's like 6 seconds before you're moving again,
Mhm.
which is amazing. It also means that you don't have like the tediousness of moving in that game.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of area to cover, and you actually cover area, or you cover ground really slowly.
Yeah.
So the fast travel working well makes a huge difference. But play that game to get your Orc Murderer boner on for about 20 hours, and I think you've got everything you can get out of that game. It's good though. No loot
Mhm.
boxes. No fucking.
It's a simpler time.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
microtransaction-y bullshit that I know of. So
Yeah.
it's it's a regular ass game with a beginning and an end.
Yeah. Well,
Give me a second. I'm almost done.
I know.
Yeah. Well.
About that.
I know. There's a segue. I mean, I'm listening.
About that loot
I know.
box
We were
part.
mocking our dumb segue.
What loot box part? Is there something related to what I was talking about that has loot boxes and other microtransaction bullshit?
Perhaps
I wonder if we should talk about it on this podcast.
we might.
We should decide who among us four should talk about it.
Okay. Let's draw straws.
Have you played it?
No.
Okay, so I think that puts you
Shadow
on-
of Wardor?
Shadow of Wardor. Yeah.
No.
I own it.
Mackie,
Thanks
have
to
you?
to
Yeah.
Walmart's pricing error.
Man.
I got it for $9.99 for the gold edition, the
I fucking
$100 one.
snoozed
Holy
on that.
Shit! So you got a bunch of free loot boxes.
Apparently, I guess I got some kind of DLC too that they
You should
they
sell
put one of
those
them
loot
at.
boxes.
Yeah.
Sell your loot
Can
box
you?
codes. I don't know.
No, it was one code for the
Oh,
whole thing.
well.
so-
Shit.
Yeah, I know.
Well, shit.
There were other people. I think Greencap got it, and shit, who else was it?
Was it Jens?
No.
Oh, hi, Ian.
He's
also
the
the-
only motherfucker in the chat.
I know. I'm saying, oh, hi. Fucking shut down, you piece of shit.
Just throw it like you did that keyboard a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's broken.
Well, once you throw that, it'll be broken too.
Yeah. And there you go.
Simple.
Yep.
There you go.
He's gonna break it.
There you go.
So yeah, speaking of loot boxes,
Loot
Yes.
boxes.
Go on.
I've heard they put those in games.
I
I heard that is how games make money these days.
see.
It's the only way.
I was a shadow hipster. You know, it's like another hipster, but he just follows behind the other one. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was following you before. It was cool. No, I played Shadow of Mordor like a while back.
You play, yeah. You're the
Yeah, you
one
were
that
the
played it
OG.
actually closest
Yeah.
to its release date.
Right. So I you know, I've done that, and I was ready for some Shadow of War. So I got it.
All right. Well, tell us
That's
about
a good
it.
progression.
uh,
of events.
Well, because like you know, it was one of those things. Like it was on sale, and look, I'll be honest. I was super jazzed for Shadow of War. Then the loot box bullshit discussion thing started happening. Like it's going to be very hard to beat the end of this game without giving us money, and it's like I don't know if I want to play you. Kind of sucked all the motivation I had for playing this game out of me. But I went ahead and got it anyway when I saw it cheap. So far, I haven't given them a dime other than buying the game itself. I don't know if suddenly at some point it's going to brick wall me and just be like, nope, give us $2 or you're not getting any further. I can't say that's coming, but whether or not it's coming, I don't know. But so far, it's more Shadow of Mordor with some new tricks and some new, very good tricks.
I would agree to that.
Based
Yeah,
on what I've
so
seen.
they got rid of the runes, right?
Yes.
Because the runes were
sure.
like you'd get them in the first one, and like that's what you'd put on your dagger or your sword to give you certain effects.
Okay.
You had one weapon and 5 upgrade slots per weapon,
Okay.
and those were your runes.
Yeah. Now you just have upgraded weapons. It's basically a loot system. You've got sword, dagger, ranged weapon, armor, and cloak, and it's going to be minor upgrades with them. You're just kind of looking for the bonus. The bonuses, really? I
Yeah.
mean, it's
It's a very stripped down Diablo-y sort of.
yeah. I mean, you kind of end up finding something that like it's a combo that works for you. Like I'm just trying to think. For example, I think it's my cloak that when I score a critical hit, it will freeze an enemy. So that's just hella useful for certain things, especially crowd control. And then so you've just got little things like that, and then it's like it's weird because it's a system that sounds way more complicated when I try to explain it than when you actually play it. So you've got not only do you have the different types of items, you have different qualities therein. So you've got your basic stuff, then you've got rare, and then I think not legendary, epic maybe is the one higher than that. And anything above the common ones will allow you to upgrade it, and the legendary ones you can upgrade twice, I believe it is, or something like that. So like you'll pick up a new cloak and it'll be like, all right, cool, this has this many stats, but if you do 5 of this fairly simple thing, you can then give us some of the tiny in-game credits. I mean, it's a minuscule amount of the in-game credits that you earn all over the freaking place. So like if that's what people are buying is the in-game credits, I just think people are bitching for no reason because I've got oodles.
Oodle the credits.
But like you're like, okay, get 5 stealth kills, cool. Now you can unlock the higher tier, and now it has not only the stat you started with, but like a new power of some sort. And then on top of that, you can throw a gem in it essentially. And same Diablo style. There's only 3 types of gems. They do something different depending on whether it's your weapon, your ranged, or a piece of armor, and then qualities therein. So like you start off with 1, combine 3 of those, comes the next one. Combine 3 of those, becomes the next one. It sounds super complicated. I guess maybe because Diablo is basically in my DNA. This was like, oh, okay, so this is super simple Diablo. Got it. Go.
Yeah.
You know?
It took me watching you play it for like 30 minutes to kind of figure out what was going on.
It's Diablo baby mode,
but
as far as loot.
You played 379,000 hours of Diablo.
Couple,
so.
yeah. So otherwise, like, I mean, fine. If even having microtransactions or that kind of thing is going to, sway you from playing, I'm just getting that out there. That is in there. It's possibly more complicated than the last one. I feel like it lets you customize your playstyle a little bit more than the last one did, as I recall. Like, you can kind of give yourself a well-rounded, nice bit of interesting things you can do. There's even things like score. What do they call it? Not a takedown. The finisher. If you do a finisher on a captain, you will become straight up invisible for like 20 seconds. So, like, if you're getting swarmed by captains and you could just manage to pull off one finisher, you can be, whoop, I'm out, bye. So
That's pretty good.
so there's funky little things like that. But they've added additional movement things that are really nice. Like you've got like a speed run thing you can do for periods of time. But I mean, you go like warp speed, like like blur effect behind you. You've got a double jump essentially now in air, so that's fun for traversing stuff.
It lets you get around a lot quicker. That was for damn sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like the environments are much more varied than they were.
They are. There was some color.
Yeah, there's some color. Like I mean, you
that
start
was the
off,
nicest part of it.
You start off
For
in
me.
a city that's not Gondor, but part of Gondor, like Zeraflil. I don't know. I don't know.
I take that when I have the flu.
Mithril.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'm a bad Lord of the Rings fan.
Minus Ithril.
Yeah. But you start off there, and it's, the orcs are coming to fuck shit up, and, they're all like, oh, we're doomed, and then you kind of come in and be like, worry not, I'm here, and I am the bringer of death, so let me do some of that.
Well,
Worry
we're
not.
slightly worried.
I am possessed by the world's greatest elven fuckboy.
I am possessed by the demon spirit of this asshole elf, this ringmaker elf fucker who's just, God, he's such an asshole.
He is a piece of shit.
He is even more of a piece of shit in the next one.
Yeah, Celebrimbor.
So, like, I at first
Celebrimbor.
I had forgotten what this item was called until I remembered what it was in the movies. This city is in possession of one of those seeing stones that Saruman has in the movie, which is
the
like
Palantir.
a Planeteer or something. Plantier.
Palantir.
Yeah. Well, when Elf Boy hears about this, like everything, like he becomes mega fucking obsessed about this. Where like your guy's like, cool, well we'll stop this and we'll save Gondor and protect the Plantier. It's like, got it, guy. I know. When the time is right, I will fucking ask for it. But we just showed up. We can't be like, hey, can I have your most valuable object that you're hiding away somewhere that only the king knows where it is? No, you got to like prove your worth, and then you go,
No.
hey, can I borrow your seeing stone? Cool, thanks. But anyway, like sort of like how Mario sort of like its biggest thing, like the teasing thing, like you could become a T-Rex. That's cool, right? Or a tank. It kind of gives you things right away. Like the big thing they talked about in this was like, hey, the spider is now a hot lady. Well, you don't have to wait because she's like in the very beginning of the game.
Oh, all right.
I'm just saying, like it's kind of like what was one way this game was being sold.
I forgot about
shoe logo.
another way that this game was supposed to be gross.
Oh. What,
Yeah,
making the hot lady?
The spider's
Spider's a hot lady. Yeah,
I mean,
got microtransactions, loot boxes, and Spider is a hot lady. Also, Celebrimbor's a fuckboy.
I actually, all right. So you can have whatever opinion you have on all of the things Lord of the Rings. I think what they did with that character is actually kind of fucking cool. Like not it being
That's fair.
not it being a hot lady, but like that it's not a spider or a hot lady or anything. It's this ancient fucking power, and it just chose to look like a spider.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's fair.
and it's
And
like
to be fair-
now I'm going to be a hot lady because
Yeah.
I will relate to you more now in this form
Yeah.
than as a giant spider.
The way it's presented in the marketing material is, hey, look at this fucking hot spider lady. Don't
Yeah.
you want to fuck her?
Yes.
Duh.
I mean, yeah,
I
but
mean, who wouldn't?
I mean, it's a hot spider lady.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
yeah, I
Eight
needless to
legs.
say, I like this game, and I will
Okay.
be continuing to play more.
I understand that the big thing about the loot boxes for this game is that there are orcs that you have to recruit, and to get the good ones, you have to get the loot boxes.
Okay,
So that I don't know if that's a thing that you have.
I haven't even gotten to that
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
from what I've heard, that's pretty much like end game stuff.
Yeah.
Like if it might not be the actual ending of the game, but like your 100% ending, so to speak, stuff is influenced by that.
Yeah,
So it's possible that you're not going to get there for a while, or it may not even affect you. Maybe.
yeah, I won't lie. I fell hard into the Nemesis system yet again. Like I completely agree with you that after a certain period of time, it doesn't mean anything. However, with Shadow of Mordor, it remains one of my favorite things about the game. Like, I feel like the second it got into, like, Act 2, it was like, oh, fuck, I thought I was at the end of the game, and now you're telling me there's a whole other area. It just kind of felt like that to me, because I had spent a lot of time playing Orc Murder Simulator 2014. And something about, like, when I became too overpowered that I couldn't really fuck with that anymore, I got kind of sad, because it was just like, oh, I can just murder an orc, no problem. Part of the game, to me, why it was most fun was jumping into a situation that was probably a little bit dangerous and trying to survive.
Right.
And not really caring if you shake up and you just add a whole bunch more orcs, especially early on, because you weren't going for completion. It's just like, I'm going to go take out this guy, and then he's going to taunt me about how he tried to kill me or got away or whatever. And so I'm not going to lie, I kind of dallied on that for a long time in this one, because I knew eventually that would be taken away from me, that it wouldn't mean anything. So I was like, for a long time, I'm like, I'm going to go step into situations that I know are dangerous and see if I can survive. So,
Survive.
yeah. Because I knew, like I said, I knew I was going to basically invalidate that eventually. So.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been, I've unlocked 2 areas, and I don't know what the total number of areas is. So.
Yeah. I guess that might be an end game or end of game spoiler for Shadow of Mordor for somebody who hasn't played it, so I'm gonna not say anything about it. But
One last thing I'll say is there is like an opening cutscene in this that is straight up using footage from the first game.
oh yeah,
And there is like this almost wipe thing they do on the screen from the old graphics to the new graphics that is just fucking fascinating. It is like night and day. I mean, I think the old game looked good. This game looks immensely better, and maybe it's just 3 years of game engine design plus more varied environments. But when that little like wipe sort of happens, and it was like, oh wow, this is weird. This just looks very much. Oh my god, this looks so much better. Like it was a nice touch. It just really was like, oh yeah, okay, I see why I'm playing a new game now. But yeah, I like it.
I'm glad to hear that.
And
I'm glad the magic holds up.
I will report back if it pisses me off to no end towards the end. I pretty much steadfastly.
We know we'll hear from you.
I steadfastly refuse to give money to games that I've already paid for. Now, I've broken that in the past. Like I bought in-game maps or whatever things. You know,
we all
just-
bought some horse armor. So
sure, yeah. I mean, and to me, Force Armor at that point was a fucking tip jar. I was committed to buying everything for Oblivion because I would already spent 1,000 fucking hours in it. So
well, that's a. We've already sort of stated that that's kind of a valid thing. If you play a game and you really, really enjoy it,
Yeah.
and you've spent a bunch of fucking time on it, and you figure
but
you've
I
gotten
am
more
not.
than
I
you're
am
worth.
not playing loot box pinata. I am not playing slot machines with real money for digital bullshit. So
No.
if it means I can't finish your game, well, guess what? I'm not finishing your fucking game because you're not getting another dollar out of me. Sorry.
Well, that's why, like, I completely skipped Battlefront 2. Unless Santa slides it under my door on December 25th, it's not coming home with me. I'm not going to monetarily endorse that sort of bullshit. Unless they fix it. I mean, it's possible.
Kind of already have.
Well, they took
No,
it
they
out,
haven't.
but
They
it might be coming back.
they are temporarily off of their bullshit, but they have
No, no,
promised
no.
that they will be
The
back on
progression
their bullshit.
thing got a major patch today.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Oh.
They patched it again.
I was in meetings all day, so I didn't read about it. So, I will withdraw my statement until I can read what their patches are, and if they're substantial enough, then I may fuck with Battlefront 2 again.
Yeah. Well, speaking of battles,
Yeah, good one.
yeah. You played a different battle game
I did.
on your streams.
I did. I have done that. I have also played some off the stream.
Oh.
And you know what? It's really interesting how mad I get off stream.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh.
best for me to play Fortnite Battle Royale when I am streaming because boy is that game frustrating. And I'll say it's mostly my fault because I am an enormous noob when it comes to mouse and keyboard, sort of first or third person shootery stuff. I played I played Shadow of Mordor with the Xbox One controller. But Fortnite Battle Royale, in case you're not aware, Fortnite is a game that's still in early access. It is a players versus environment thing. I think you are sort of fending off hordes of zombies. You can break down buildings and trees and rocks and stuff and then use those materials to craft walls and stairs and a bunch of stuff, and you go find weapons in a sort of looty system. White, green, blue, purple, orange sort of loot. And it's real cartoony. It's made by Epic Games, and it's super cartoony. But they have a free-to-play Battle Royale mode, and PUBG makes me too nervous to play anymore. It's like Stress Simulator 2017 for me. But Fortnite is a little bit more palatable to me because it's a little bit more goofy and cartoony. But their Battle Royale mode is very similar to all the other Battle Royale modes, except the map is very small. It's still 100 players, but also you have that building. You have the building system in it, which sort of can make things really weird sometimes because you could build a fortress on top of a mountain or whatever, or you can build a platform and walk halfway across the map if you have enough materials.
We call them mats.
Mats?
Mats.
Mats?
Get yourself some mats.
I'm going to call them materials.
Oh.
See, that's why you're not. That's why you're still
why you're not
scrubbed.
That's why I'm still
Yeah.
scrubbed.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't gotten good yet.
Yeah, you got to say mats.
Well, when I
got to get on their lingo level.
but don't I have to
You ain't
earn?
got time for materials.
But don't I have to earn the right to call them mats by getting good?
No.
Or is that how I get good? Is by
Yeah.
calling them mats?
That's
Okay. Well, I'll
Yeah.
try that.
like the door to getting good. The mats are out front.
Yeah.
Sort of getting good. Okay.
You're just a keyboard jockey until you get past the mats.
until I get past the mats. Yeah, the welcome mats. I will say I've made progress in my de-scrubitudining. But I've I had a game where I came in 11th in solo out of 100 players, and I got like 3 kills. I was very proud of it. That happened last night. So check youtube.com/NoQuartersNet for that video, which will go up soon. But this game, I think, really shines like probably most of these types of games do when you play with your friends. I played with, a couple weeks ago, I played with Ian Boudreau, one of our friends. He also does some writing for wargaming.net, and he streams as well, and he's one of our No Quarters / internet buddies. I played with him, and I played with Alarith also, who also streams, and he does Warframe a lot, which is totally not my jam, but it's great that people love it, and it seems cool. I just don't like it, but being able to sort of have somebody to pal around with and do these goofy things with in this goofy world, because they have, in addition to just like regular weapons and building stuff, there are traps that you can build. You can also find these little jump pads, which you can put on the ground, and it just flings you like 100,000 feet in the air. One of the weapons that was that you could use during the Halloween holiday season was a pumpkin launcher, and it launched these like pumpkins that would laugh as they were flying through the air, and then make a bunch of weird noises when they exploded. So having somebody to goof around with while you're doing this insanely goofy shit is a lot of fun. And
Did you ride any pumpkins?
I did not.
Yeah, I hear that's a thing.
It is a
People
thing
do.
that you can do. You can also ride the regular rockets now.
Oh.
I don't know if that's now or has always been the way, but man, I'm not. We rarely survive long enough to find to find that kind of weapon, or even like try to use it because we're scrubs. Try to use it like that anyway because we're scrubs, but. It's weird. It's free, so if you are interested in a sort of goofy battle royale type of game, it doesn't cost you anything
Is
to
it
play.
free on PC only? Because I know
No, it is free on.
Fortnite is out there on the consoles too.
So Fortnite Battle Royale is available for PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 for free,
Okay.
as far as I know. The Fortnite regular version is
Right.
still like $39.99.
So it's just in the various stores,
Yeah.
I guess. Okay.
The way they're trying to get your money is by selling you coins to buy like outfits and shit with. It doesn't seem there don't seem to be
So very much like player on like PUBG. I mean, they're doing the same thing. Like
similar.
you
Yeah.
can buy these clothes. They ostensibly
Don't
don't
do
make
anything,
anything.
yeah.
I mean, there's little things that quote unquote the clothes and things do. Like, I guess it's not clothes, but like having the frying pan on you makes your ass bulletproof. You just
But the
just
frying
by
pan,
having it on your belt in PUBG, it's like
but frying pan is a thing that you find in the world.
Right,
It's
that's
not
what I
something
mean,
that you
yeah,
purchase.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not a clothing. It's
But I
a
mean, like,
action- a
do
frying
they
pan is a
sell
melee.
helmets and things, or is that all?
No, that's
in
all.
the game?
Yeah, they sell hats,
They sell
but hats are
Oh,
only
look at all your different
cosmetic.
colored hats.
Yeah, look at all that. It's a funny hat. But yeah, as far as I can tell, it's all cosmetic shit.
Right.
So
okay.
you buy fake currency and then you spend fake currency on fake
Fashion.
fashion. Yeah,
Faux fashion.
yeah, which is whatever. Do that if you want, but the game doesn't seem to be making you do any of that, which is nice.
Okay.
At least to succeed or have fun. But I've had a lot of fun with it, even though it's frustrating as shit because I suck. And I like every firefight I get into is I feel like I'm like a man made of noodles trying to swim through a bowl full of Jello. Nothing seems to work. But I have gotten better, and I will continue to get better. And you can catch me getting better sometimes on stream at twitch.tv/NoQuartersNet. Yeah,
Good plug.
yeah, thanks.
Solid
Eh?
plug.
That's what sold it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh?
Mondays at 9 p.m.
Ah.
Ah.
Eh.
Wow.
Eh?
All right. You remember that game that I declared my FOTY of 2016, known as Hitman?
Yes. they got shut down and the game no longer exists.
They bought their way back.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
They got kicked out the door, and they said, you know what?
Did they find the mats?
They were like, I don't need a man. I'm gonna do things myself.
Okay.
And the team that made Hitman is now putting out more DLC for it. And they started with a new series of 4 missions called Patient Zero, which is a storyline where you are basically taking on a cult.
Oh.
And you're doing it in the same environments that they'd had before, but different variations. Like the first one's the Bangkok Hotel, but it's at nighttime, and there's certain areas that are reconfigured with different stuff. So it's basically a reworking of the missions, kind of like the summer bonus episodes were with Season Pass last year, where there was a couple of them where it was like, all right, you're in the same area, but it's more limited. So I mean, it's kind of like one of those quick and dirty ways of getting stuff out and getting out new missions, which I was all about because basically I got to drown a cult leader as he was giving a speech to me about how I needed to reform my life and and let the guilt come out of me, and then I drowned him in a nice serene fountain that he was speaking to me in front of.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah. And then I got sloppy and just pushed his assistant off a balcony in front of like 30 people, and everyone freaked out and was screaming. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to leave now.
Yeah.
And so
Over here's done.
Yeah, I slid down a fire escape down the side of the building, and I made it out. I didn't get shot somehow, but yeah, I mean, it's more Hitman. It was $20, which it's not the best value, to be totally honest, but I wanted to support those guys who are now like completely independent, so I know that the money goes to them, and that if I do that, then that means Season 2 has way more likelihood of happening. So,
doesn't this open up like all the special events again? Like, are they going to do the?
My understanding is it's
elusive targets.
Yes, they're back. You still only get one chance at them, but I think it's like from a menu you can choose them now, and I know they started more elusive targets. They haven't been updating the app. And I don't know if the app was owned by Square Enix or whatever, because that used to be where I'd find all the information. But now, like the app is like wiped, like it doesn't have any information on it. So I need to resubscribe to them on Twitter or whatever and get the updates. But yeah, I think they're currently in like elusive target number 2 right now.
Okay.
But I haven't been. I got out of my regular cycle of booting up the game and checking that stuff. And they rearranged the menus a little bit to make things a little bit easier, but they're still not good menus, to be totally honest. Like they're not easy to navigate at all. But yeah, it's nice having more Hitman. It's just it's not quite it's not new missions really. I mean, they're just like new variations in the same area with some new storyline stuff. Yeah. But from what I explored of it, it didn't feel like there's like the 50 different ways to do this, like the best levels of the first one, of the Season 1 stuff did. But
I could think of a dozen games to where I would be like, if all I ever got was more missions in the same existing assets, I would take it. Like if they just added a bunch of...
And that's how I am with Hitman. I'm like, all right, give me new stuff to do.
Yeah, if they just reworked Burnout Paradise and just put a bunch of different stuff in it and just said, here's 80 more new objectives, go do them. I'd be like, fuck yeah, this is the best ever. I don't care if it's the same city.
Here's what you could do. You could accidentally wipe your entire save. And then
I have considered that.
You should probably become a PC gamer. And I don't say that to be an asshole, but like seriously, like there are wacky things on the fucking PC.
Yeah,
like no, not even that. Official shit. Like there's new content for like Titan Quest.
What?
Yeah, motherfucking Titan Quest had a brand new thing come out, like a whole patch or DLC thing. Like
nice.
And that game's what, 10 years old? I think or more.
More, way more.
Yeah, like they put out new content for I think Knights of the Old Republic and like Baldur's Gate and shit. I mean, it's like these really old fucking games.
Yeah, I do remember them updating Baldur's Gate.
Yeah,
that was weird.
Yeah, anyway, it's just weird. Yeah. Plus user mods. Like here's a whole other game that's like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a little more expensive than the other stuff was, because I mean, for $10 in any of the other missions, you basically got a new level and a new whole bunch of shit to do. Whereas this is 4 scenarios in remixed locales, but it's $20. So it's kind of the price value thing isn't quite there, but like I said, I don't care. I want to support them, and I want to be sure that we get a season 2, and that's kind of how you make it happen. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of sequels and stuff,
Right.
I'm going to blow through some sequels real fast. I
Okay.
played some.
Sequel corner.
So I talked a bit about Dungeons 2 last time.
Yeah.
I completed Dungeons 2, at least the single player campaign, and pretty much immediately picked up Dungeons 3, as I said I was going to.
Saw that coming. Yeah.
Just quick take on it. Like it's confusing because like when I first booted up Dungeons 3, I was like, oh, what did you do? You like made this stupid and simple and whatnot. And no, it's just they sort of changed how you get to everything.
Okay.
Like pretty much everything that was in Dungeons 2 as far as like room types and things, objectives are all there. It's just now it's kind of hidden in different systems where instead of just having like an upgrade thing within each room, it's like now you just have this like upgrade tree, and so it's kind of more tech tree-ish, like Civilization style tech tree. Like, oh, to do this you have to get this and have this room and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, now this is available. So I still ended up really liking it. I mean, it's funny. I almost feel tempted to go back and play Dungeons 1 now because when I decided to buy 2, I bought a pack that had like everything Dungeons 1 and 2. Because just I almost need to see like what their first game effort was. Then I've already played 2 and I played 3 because like it's just funny. It's like seeing developers get better at like basically everything.
Right.
That I almost kind of like need to see what their first attempt was, just to know like, okay, Dungeons 4 or whatever the hell they do next is going to be fucking amazing. Like at the progression they're going, it seems like. So, but yeah, I still liked it. I put a lot of hours in Dungeons 3. I still occasionally just play a skirmish mode because it's fun to me to just take out resources and play it for almost no reason. It's just like going back and playing a skirmish mode in Warcraft or something after you've like beaten the campaign. It's like, I just kind of want to do this. Let's collect some resources and kick some ass.
Yeah.
So, I didn't officially buy Battlefront 2.
What?
But I do want to talk about Battlefront 2.
Okay.
We've hinted at that there's plenty of grossness to be had in Battlefront 2 and the way that they've initially were like, fuck you, pay me, method of gaming, that they've since backed off and be like, fuck you, just play our game forever.
Right.
I will say I grabbed it via the I did the Origin access instead of EA access, the PC version versus the Xbox version.
Right.
The 10-hour trial, and I was like, hey, 10 hours should be more than enough time to blow through this campaign that I've heard is super short. Except EA finally got wise.
Yeah.
They straight up give you 3 missions and then be like, well, you still have like 7.5 hours left. Go play the multiplayer until your time's up.
Yep.
Smart.
So
Smart.
I will
they
give them
did-
that because
They did the same thing with Need for Speed and Madden, to where they were like, they're going to blow through the story mode in these 10 hours. Well,
because
cut it off by a third.
there was something like some of the first ones we straight up played like Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah.
I think like the 10-hour trial. I think
Yes.
you could play through the entire story mode and
I
then some.
finished like 80% of the last Need for Speed
Yeah.
on the trial and was like, I don't need to get this.
Yeah, so good on them, I guess. It's 10 hours is a bit much for especially some games you can finish through a story mode. Story mode, it's strange to me like that they were like, this is going to sell the game because of what they gave you. It's like,
Is it like 4 hours? Isn't the story mode like 4 hours?
maybe,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think I did 3 missions or so. A little bit of a little bit of variety. Like I think I got to do some space stuff. Some dogfighting, but it was just enough that I was like, huh. Well, that was kind of a wet fart of a like most demos or whatever. It's like, hey, here we're getting to like the thing, and like, you want to see that? Nope. Give us money. But this was just like
Yeah,
it
it's
just
like
kind of
that God of War style
Yeah.
where it's like, man, freaking awesome boss fight, wasn't that?
Yeah.
This one's just like, hey, you finish this level. All right, cool. Well, you want to give us some money and keep playing? No? All right, well, that's cool too, I guess. But yeah, I played a little bit of like multiplayer / the single player thing with the bots just to see the game. It's pretty, but I mean, I'm not shitting on it because I was never super high on Battlefront, the first. the last Battlefront, the one. I liked it fine. I didn't like obsess over it. So I'm okay with not buying this. I know it'll be free in that vault eventually, and that's when I will play it. And lastly, I'm blowing through the sequels. I got Destiny 2, semi for free.
With your video card.
Yeah, with
right?
the video card. Because I wouldn't have bought it otherwise. And that is a good game to give away with a video card. Because that game
it's
looks
pretty.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And they obviously optimized the fuck out of that game for that video card. Yeah, exactly what you were saying. Like, Destiny, gameplay-wise, man, like, Bungie just gets fucking shooting dudes. Like, they get that. I don't even know what other plane they're on when it comes to trying to tell stories. I don't even know. They're like if Piers Anthony dropped acid. They're like trying to fucking follow their shit. It's like, what the fuck are you trying to say?
Yeah.
They feel like someone who has like had a conversation with you in their head, and then but they never actually had that conversation. But then they continue to talk to you as if they've had that conversation. That's how all of Bungie's storytelling feels. It's like, oh, you didn't know about that?
Yeah. It's like, no.
Yeah.
I have a coworker who has the first like 3 minutes of the conversation that she's going to have with me in her head, and then starts talking to me.
Yep.
Like, that's got to be exactly
That's
what
that's
it's
what
like.
Bungie storytelling feels like.
Yeah, and it's a shame because, like, I will say, like, I don't know that anyone does first-person shooting just straight up the mechanic of shooting better than them. I think that's why Halo ever succeeded. I mean, to me, it's like the exact opposite of the Wolfenstein thing. It's like, you have done this 100% right. That's how a gun should feel, and yeah, but man, their storytelling fucking sucks, and it still does.
Yes.
I mean, at least there is a straight up like single player story mode in this one, whereas like Destiny the first was just kind of like, I don't know, wander over here, and then your Sparky guy will say things, whatever the hell his name is. Ghost? Is that what they're called? Ghost. Yeah. Well,
He will tell you about the wizard.
Hey,
Yeah.
Sparky. Yeah, and then they'll take that out.
But yeah,
And then they'll change his voice.
yeah. It was like, all right, go over here and shoot some more dudes. Okay, cool. That's how I got to the first one. At least this one feels like it's trying, but it's still that Halo hot bullshit of like, here's random words clumped together that sort of tell a story. You know, the flood came and the plague and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's
The
what
flood, that's a Bungie thing.
Yeah, something like that.
I remember them.
Yeah.
They were annoying to fight.
Totally were.
But no, I mean, I haven't played a ton of it because it's just been the deluge of games, and now it's like Destiny 2, like much like Wolfenstein is like, maybe eventually, but I've got things I'm much more pot committed on than this.
That stormy level you were playing when I was watching you play,
looks
that looks
really
fucking like I was
really
like
does.
I couldn't believe it was Destiny. I was like, what awesome PC shooter is this? You're like, Destiny 2? I'm like, what?
Well, it should
Just
be
give
good.
the handshake. What?
It should be good because they waited like a
No.
month and a half between
Yeah.
when it released on the console to when it came on the PC. So
Yeah.
I assume that was all spent optimizing it to hell because
Mm-hmm.
it does look damn good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's another patch that dropped today for the consoles. They optimized the shit out of it, so
Oh.
console should be looking better
Yeah.
today.
Okay.
Apparently HDR was broken on the PlayStation
Yeah,
Pro.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Whoops.
Do we want to lead off the second half of this next
Yeah.
part? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's sequel corner. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I know that was kind of a hodgepodge of games, but
Yeah.
Put
They're
'em
all
somewhere.
sequels, though.
Yeah.
Should we take a break and come back with the sequel to the first half?
We should take a break and then come back with the sequel to the first half.
Thank you for restating what I just stated.
You're
Wow.
welcome. I like to restate what other people have just
Wow.
said.
meanwhile, on that side of the table,
Anyway, be right back.
Technically,
BRB.
everything in the first half except for two things was a sequel corner.
Video games are a sequel. All video games are sequel.
Mordor and Fortnite are the only two not sequels on the whole list. I'm just saying.
Mordor's the sequel to Batman.
Fortnite is sequel to 1 week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yes, it is. Yes,
God damn it. God damn it.
it's been 1 week since you shot at me.
Do we have any mobile stuff? Anyone have any mobile Skinner boxes they've been playing?
No.
No. Okay. Good. I'm just gonna cut that out, and we're gonna end with Tales of Pinballery if that works.
Got no emails?
I don't think so. We might have, but we take so damn long.
Yeah.
They kind of get filtered out of the box.
Yeah. Box.
Along with all these, like, hey, do you want to? This new Steam code's available. We get that so often, and I feel bad because it's like, I might want to check that game out, and I'm like, I feel bad because I know I will never have time to actually check that game out.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna request a code and then have them be like, why are you a douche who never played it and never discussed it?
Yes. Excuse me. Why are you a douche? Douche. What? How?
What?
This new version of Zoo Tycoon that came out for the Xbox One X already has an unobtainable achievement.
Sweet. Good call,
Like,
guys.
like fucking how?
So is this your copy?
Yeah.
I will watch this at some point.
You really should.
I hear it's okay. But wait, who was it? Were you saying it was on Amazon or somebody was?
It's on Amazon and Hulu also. So if that's easier, give me that back. But if that makes it easier.
I do have Amazon, but... yeah, well, no, I'm trying to think. It's probably better that I don't stream stuff. I stream The Doctor, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Even then, I get the HDCP bullshit. But
Shit.
whatevs, man.
Yeah.
Then I'll watch it on my phone.
Yeah.
So do they have major spoilers in the thumbnail for Hunt for Red October on
No.
Amazon?
No.
This is the scene where Sean Connery gets shot.
Nah.
No, my shoelace is untied.
Hi.
Point out that my sports bar neighbors are outside blasting Steve Harvey Family Feud.
Oh, sure.
They're watching that and
out back.
yeah, and Superstore isn't that buy more? Like they basically were like, hey, what if we took that part from Chuck and made a whole show?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, they're only blasting the audio of Wheel of Fortune or Family Feud.
That's right. They have two TVs and they watch two things at the same.
Three.
Yeah.
There are three TVs
now?
outside.
Wow.
There are two side by side and one over to the side.
Man, that's dedication to TV right there.
It's crazy.
Ah.
Pardon me. What's
Hi.
crazy?
His neighbors back there have like three TVs out on their backboard
Oh,
that they watch simultaneously.
That T-shirt does look like a bad idea.
It just looks like airbrushed bullshit.
That's not that bad idea.
So I keep seeing the cameras flash
Mm-hmm.
on the 4 shot. Is it the refresh rate of the new monitors that's causing it?
Yeah, it just does that periodically.
Does it? Okay, because it seems like it's going in a pattern around the, like, counterclockwise.
I don't know. I don't know if it does it on the actual stream
Okay.
to other people or not.
I knew that the monitor refresh rate was something weird, like 75 hertz or something, but
That could contribute to it. I don't know. I mean, I can guarantee you these are only running at 30 frames, so.
okay.
Ooh. Hey, look at this. Somebody typed on my computer.
What?
I wanted to say hi to the chat.
Hi.
Oh.
So I typed hi in the chat.
I don't know if Jens is still there. Jens is not a commenter. Jens is just kind of
I don't know. Jens commented the fuck out of the first game.
I think he
I think most people just like listening to our voices. They don't really pay attention to what we're saying.
Well, I wouldn't want to look at us. I mean,
No, I mean I think people just
I'm
put
here.
us, it always seems like whenever I glance at the chat during Gamecast, like no one is paying attention to anything we're saying. They're just talking amongst themselves, and I'm like,
There is a secondary conversation thread going on in addition to whatever we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But I'm fine.
I don't
with
have a problem with it. It's just I think
It's a
people find our
community.
talking comforting, but they don't necessarily are they're not tuned into what we're talking
They're
about.
listening. I know they're listening.
Okay,
They definitely listen when we make mistakes.
that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're like, "Hey guys,
Hey,
let me."
I'm
correct
sure-
you."
Or they jump in to be like, "Oh, you're talking about that movie? Here's what happens at the end."
Yeah, that's some hot bullshit.
Or Dr. C to tell us that no, actually, that's terrible,
Whatever movie
and I
it is,
hated
it's
it because it was
terrible.
boring.
Oh, you mean Doctor? My uncle works at Nintendo. See,
Yeah,
Doctor, I
Yeah.
saw it. In,
I've seen Last Jedi twice now.
Yeah.
I'm
Doctor,
sure
I
you
saw it
have.
and it was Krampus.
sure you have, guy.
Sure, yeah.
He might even be here listening now.
I believe you. You
Are
have
you
seen The Last
here?
Jedi
Totally
multiple
believe you.
times.
Are you
Totally believe you. I played Star Fox 2 like
'Cause
20 years ago. The real one, like a cart. It was a prototype. My uncle.
I think when he said like, "Oh yeah, I saw Last Jedi a few weeks ago. I'm dying to talk about it," and I'm like, "Are you Ryan Johnson? How?"
It's actually Dr. C. It's like Brick. It's supposed to be Brick. He's trying to tell us something.
I still don't get it.
Brick was Brian Johnson's first movie.
Oh.
Then he made the Brothers Bloom,
My sweet brick.
and then he made Lupa.
Ah, the Lupa.
Ah, Lupa.
Lupa.
The last movie where Bruce Willis almost gave a shit.
Yeah, he tried to give a shit in that,
Almost.
and then everyone was like, "Yay, Bruce Willis gives a shit," and then nah.
Anywho,
Yeah, Bruce Willis
I'm not
Is
ready
that-
to be back.
is-
yet.
giving a shit every once in
is
a
that
while.
an acceptable, like putting that at the beginning? Is that what we want to do?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think that's
I just figured.
a good place to go from. Okay. I gotta say the two monitor thing is throwing me off, Harlow, because I can't see your face unless I go like this.
Well, I have a little bit more room to scoot.
I do look at you like I end up looking at you on the monitor, and then I see myself looking
Yeah.
in the wrong direction, and it's weirding me out.
Well, actually, I can't because that cord is way too tight. I'll have to get something. I'll have to bring it up here and plug it in
Yeah.
the top. Then I can scoot.
Yeah, it's like talking to
scoot, motherfucker.
yeah, it's like talking to your cubicle mate over the
Yeah.
cubicle wall.
When we put them together, I was disappointed that the stand isn't adjustable. I was like, "Oh, these are
Yeah,
tall."
you can only tilt.
Yeah.
Not up and down. We could get.
We'll just mount them on articulated arms.
Yeah, that rotate.
No, Chuck. God damn it, Chuck. You and your rotating
I'm kidding. I
fucking
don't
mount.
give a shit anymore.
Spending $9,000 on a goddamn
like you
rotating
sent
mount.
the link to it, and it's like
It
$300.
would have looked cool.
Chuck's like, I see them all over the place. I know they exist, and
I have them
and
in
you
my
found
office.
you found the $300.
Yeah, that's because Mayo has all the money.
I'm like, the monitors are $90, and you want to spend $300 on a rotating mount.
It would make it look cool.
Get the fuck out of my office.
You have rotating like TV mounts
Yeah.
that like on the fly rotating.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
You
like
just
I mean,
spin that fucking thing.
because what we mostly saw was like, yeah, you can rotate it, but it means like taking the thing off.
Oh, yeah,
and
taking
Oh
the
yeah,
plug
no,
off
these
and
are
turning
90
the plate.
degree foot lock into place.
Yeah.
I mean, I have those. I have a monitor that does that at work, but it's just.
Yeah, like I said, it's common on monitor stands,
Right.
But, like
But
wall
it's not a
mounts-
VESA mount. Like it's not a wall mount.
Think that we should get some.
Fucking kick
I'm
the
kidding.
shit
I
out of
don't
you
care.
under the table.
I don't care anymore. We've got
Yeah.
monitors now. We just have to make them shorter.
And C mics, I keep wanting to try Dragon's Dogma, but then I keep reminding myself I can't get sucked into another game like that until I finish some of the other ones I've already played. But I did see it's on sale this week on Xbox One, so I might.
I think I have that game 4 different times. I think
Yeah.
I have like both the original versions and the Dark Arisen
Mm-hmm.
updates.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
But
feel
yeah,
like I've
it
bought
is-
that game 6 times.
It's one of those games I know is going to be very much my shit.
Yeah.
Because it's like all the stuff that I want out of, like he says, Dark Souls, Monster Hunter, and Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah. Yeah. But I also know that it's like, 80 hours and you might finish it. And God, I can't.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
can't-
those games anymore.
Shit, that just made me remember that I never did pick up the Team Ico other game, whatever the hell it was called.
Oh, the Last Guardian.
Last Guardian, yeah.
And it never goes on sale either.
Mm-mm.
Like
But it
not
was-
even,
but it
not
was-
even digitally.
But
or
wasn't it
anything.
like a $40 game anyway?
Yeah, it was cheaper.
Cheaper. Yeah.
I wanted to play it, but there's a lot of stuff I want to play, but man.
That game fucking dropped. Like, all the hype for that game, and then the game came out, and no one said another fucking word about it.
Yeah. For
Like,
it
I'd
was
forgotten
for
it
a week.
existed until you said that. Hadn't even crossed my mind.
Well, sometimes you just can't take 7 years or whatever it is to finish your damn game.
Yeah. Also, the internet ruins everything.
Wasn't it more? Or was that a PS? Was Shadow of the Colossus? Yeah, they were both.
Yeah,
PS3
Shadow of the Colossus.
games.
No, they came
No,
out on
they're
PS2,
PS2.
PS2, yeah.
and then they remastered them
Right.
And
right,
so
right,
that
right.
they actually
remastering them
played
again.
with a frame rate that you didn't get sick
Right.
watching.
You didn't want to vomit.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since their actual last game? I mean, not
Yeah,
counting
God,
the
Shadow of the Colossus was like 2004, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 2003, and then that one was 2015.
Mhm.
Maybe 16, was it? Was it last year?
I
or the
think
year
it was
before?
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's even longer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
God. God.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
All right. So should we do a second half?
I would like to.
Yeah, we really should.
Welcome back to the second half.
Whoa.
Still a motherfucking video game podcast.
Yes, now in 4K and HDR.
with extended release.
What?
Whoa.
Oh,
I'm a big
hang
fan
on.
of the extended release.
Whoa. What?
Yeah.
It's a lot to live
That's what I'm
up to.
talking about.
But you do have
Maybe
to
not.
download a 12 gigabyte patch before you can watch us in 4K and HDR.
Give me
Yeah.
that patch.
What?
So,
X
Um,
won't give it to you.
yeah, it is.
Yes.
Apparently twice, in this room at least.
Mm-hmm. This side of the table
Yeah,
over here.
the side of the table that owns 4K TVs.
Right.
He doesn't have
up-
4K
I don't have
TV.
4K TV.
What?
Oh, that's right. You're stupid. I kid.
That was
kid.
my thoughts, actually.
Mhm.
It's just you articulate what I
No,
was
but-
thinking in my head.
Sorry, I couldn't
Really,
pass
I-
up that opportunity.
I didn't
so.
realize you didn't have a 4K TV.
I
It's
do not.
it's fine.
So all
Chuck's
you get
actually
is-
doing this the right way.
Yeah, so all you did is get better frame rates.
More.
Chuck's doing this
More
the
frame
right.
rates.
Chuck is doing this the right way. He is getting the content and then getting the TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of me like getting the TV and going like, oh shit, what can I put on here?
Anyway, we're talking about the Xbox One
yeah,
X,
Xbox One X.
the latest console in the Xbox line of consoles.
Mhm.
In the arms race of consoles.
You're right, yeah, in the half-step iPhone model of console.
Yeah.
It was funny because it didn't actually. You know, I got so used to saying Xbone.
Mhm.
You know, even though Microsoft's like, please don't say Xbone. But you
Too
know, how, like
bad, Larry.
you know, how, like usually there's like a 3 or 4 letter code for like the system it's on.
Yep.
And I went to abbreviate it and I went X.
Yeah.
XB1X Xbox. And I was, oh motherfucker.
That's. I guarantee you, that's why they did it.
Well, I just like it was the first time I was just typing it out. I was like, and I was trying to abbreviate it. I was like, God damn it, that just spells Xbox.
Mhm. Yeah, some marketing wizard really earned their pay that day.
Yeah.
Who were the
He came from the moon.
Who are the ad wizards that came up with this one?
Yeah,
But yes, we got Xbox One X's.
We
We're
do,
We're going to
yeah.
talk briefly about the console
Yes.
itself.
it's heavy.
It's wood.
So it's like
It is-
the original Xbox One.
It's heavier than that
Ooh.
because it's compact. It's the.
That's a-
It's a lot smaller.
Yeah, it's
I
a-
was shocked at
Dang,
how
that's
much
a
smaller it
big
is.
Yeah,
It's like a
it's-
PS4 size now.
It's a little smaller than the S.
Is it? I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't side by
it's
side them.
it's
See-
minuscule. Like you would really have to compare them.
I still have the launch Haas.
Yeah, yeah. So it's smaller
so,
than
so
that.
when I look at that one, I'm like, oh, look
Yeah.
at this. Look at this petite new hotness.
yeah, you have a cable box.
yeah, with a giant brick, the Ghostbusters brick
Yeah,
behind
no,
it.
the power supply's in this motherfucker now.
Oh my god,
Mhm.
they've done everything right.
Including a surge protector, because when they were trying to troubleshoot my Xbox One S, they were like, plug it directly in the wall. You don't need a surge protector. There's one built in. I'm like, that That sounds like a trick to sell more
Yeah.
Xboxes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Technically, they're correct, but
Yeah. How old is your Xbox, sir? Oh, you should definitely plug that one into the wall.
Yeah, just plug it right in.
Yeah.
oh,
you've
an
had it-
original, an
oh.
Xbox One S. Yeah.
Oh, you've owned it for 37 months,
Yeah.
do you?
Lick the plug before you put it
Yeah.
in, just for fun.
So what I'm gonna need you to do is take some aluminum foil and wrap it around.
Yeah.
Uh,
But so
yeah, wrap it in a towel too. Wrap the whole
Yeah.
unit in a
no,
towel.
that fixes it.
No, but put it in your oven and then 400 degrees for 45 minutes, and then put it in your freezer.
Does your oven have an overclock temperature? That's what you want to set it to.
You want to broil Xbox One X broiling it.
Clean. You got to clean your
Yes,
Xbox.
put
Yeah.
it in. Self-cleaning Xbox.
Xbox One Vin.
Mhm.
No.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
But anyway,
Look,
yes,
I'm trying.
it's
Uh-huh.
a petite, heavy system.
It is, yes. It's compact.
yeah.
It's got a lot going on.
It's got a lot of mass.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
It's
Been
does.
bulking up.
It's like the best cheerleader
Yeah.
in high school.
But it's freaking quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't make a sound. Like,
Well,
I can
so
hear
the
the hard
beep-
drive.
When you turn it on, it goes beep.
It does make a beep when you turn it on. And I can hear the hard drive, like, reading, like, accessing. But
Is it the same beep that the original, like that the Xbox One, the original one makes?
I believe so, yeah.
Or that ding?
Yeah.
But then you
Okay.
still got that, like, you got that funky new X animation.
Yeah.
Mm.
It starts out inside
I'm
a-
just talking
in
about
a
the sound.
chip.
Yeah.
Because Saturday mornings I get up and
Oh.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to play some video games.
You can turn
and
that
it's
off in
like,
the settings.
I need to do that
Yeah.
because that sound is like an alarm clock for my wife.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Are
could
you
be up-
having fun?
I could get up at 6 in the morning and she's like, ding, and she'd be like, oh, I just couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Beacons of
What do we-
Gondor are lit.
Yeah, what-
Projects need our aid.
It is. It is. It is the worst because I will do everything like get the dog, keep the dogs quiet, do everything, but doodling and yeah. She's like, "Oh, were you playing your game?" No, I wasn't.
No. All I
It
did
just
was
turned
turn it
on 20 seconds ago. You heard it.
I was playing the best stealth game, and then you ruined it.
I like the dismissive language too that I know is probably an exact quote. Your game.
Yeah. Well, for a long time it was the sword game. It was Neo. I was like, it's called Neo. It's based
called
on
Neo.
Japanese lore,
Mom.
and it's very deep and very well crafted game. It's not just the sword game.
You wouldn't understand, you fucking gaijin.
Yeah, and now
Very intense.
Wolfenstein is the Nazi game. She's like, oh, are you playing the Nazi game again? I'm like,
No.
Yeah, right. I'm fucking melting Nazis with a laser. Get the fuck out of my office.
There's always some derisive term for whatever game you're playing.
I'm a man. I'm an adult. And I just want to have fun on a Saturday morning.
Oh my god.
So yeah, does it make that same sound?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it totally
yeah.
does. And you can turn it off in the menu,
Okay.
which you should totally look into.
Mhm.
Or just wrap a towel around it. That'll
Yeah, just stifle it however you can.
smother it.
Yes. Yes. So I have some opinions coming at this thing for a various different reasons. I don't have a 4K TV as we established at the beginning of the segment. But I do have a 1080p TV, and the Xbox One generally never hit 1080p. So it is an improvement to me anyway. So you don't have to have a 4K TV to see an improvement in this
Oh,
thing.
I know. We were just giving you shit.
No, I know.
In fact, actually, you're probably, in a strange way, you're probably getting more on 1080p than I am on 4K because
Yeah.
I would think that like they
Depending
can
on
turn
the game, yeah.
they can turn on more
Yes.
anti-aliasing and things like that more so on the 1080p signal than they can the 4K.
Well, and some of the games have a toggle where it's like performance or visuals to where like visuals 4K but performance is 1080p. So if I don't have that option, then I'm getting all the things.
Right.
But when I first started playing games on it, I had the immediate thought that this is what Harlow sees when he's playing PC games. Because I've never been a PC gamer. The closest I've ever gotten was one of those $500 Steam machines that I, for 2 years, could not pull the trigger on, just never could commit to doing it. And
Good call.
yeah. And even though this is also a $500 console, this is better than that Steam machine in terms of the specs. So I am finally seeing what PC gamers were seeing a couple years ago on my TV. But for me, going from what was the least powerful console this current generation, Switch aside, to the most, the change was immediately obvious to me. Because I had started Wolfenstein and I had started Need for Speed on the S, and then got the X halfway through and then fired them up, and I was like, this is night and day different. Like, I can't believe how different these two games look. And was like, I'm arrived. I'm an elite asshole now.
Sweet.
I'm this guy who's like, come on, 60 frames per second or get the fuck out. You know, I'm that guy now. So I just think it looks remarkably good. And I haven't had any game not run well. And so I think we're going to run through some games after your impressions of the console.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any. No, I mean, like,
well, okay, but you play on a PC on that television, so
yeah,
is it in any? Can you see a difference?
I hate to say it, but so far I am underwhelmed.
Okay.
I mean, I just am. I think because I'm spoiled on the PC side, there's several games I straight up can't even tell a difference.
Okay.
Like I saw a video of supposedly vanilla Diablo 3 running on like Xbox, PS4, then the X and the PS4 Pro. I can't tell a fucking difference. And to the point that like I'm like, did the patch even get installed? Is there a patch? Like
Yeah, well, Diablo's a game that's always run really well.
It has, and I mean maybe it's running slightly smoother. I just from watching that video to actually experiencing it in person, I'm kind of wondering if I just need to uninstall and reinstall the game so that it makes sure it downloads the new assets or something. Because I only sort of briefly popped in and was like, well, this feels awfully same.
Okay.
Now when I put in the brand new like released for the X, like all the enhancements are built right in. They look good. I mean, I will say that. So I think we're going to run through. I've played some of these.
Okay.
And you've played some of the other ones.
Yeah. So, yeah, like Need for Speed and Wolfenstein, immediate difference to me. Like,
Right.
Wolfenstein was a blurry mess when I was playing it. It just, like, textures were muddy. And Need for Speed had a real bad problem where textures wouldn't even load in. So you would just see, like, temp textures, which were all just a smear. And it looked real bad. But, like, after playing it on the X, they both look like video games that run well, so that was an improvement. So one of the things I started with was the new Madden, because I've never been overwhelmed by this generation football game. Like everyone that I've fired up since these new consoles came out, I'm like, you know what? I just don't see these don't seem any better to me. They're always just stuttery and kind of broken, and something about them always look like garbage. Madden 18, I think, looks really amazing, and it's pretty smooth, but then it just makes the character models look really strange. Like, when you're just playing... Because, like we were talking about the other day, they use a weird ragdoll physics model with the players, and eventually just a player will look like they've died. Like, they just get hit in a weird way, and you're like, oh, that football man is dead. So... it being so smooth and clean really draws attention to how weird some of the model interactions are, and how like the players don't really come in contact with each other, and it's just that kind of stuff really sticks out now. But the rest of the game just looks amazing.
Yeah,
so
I concur. I actually picked up Madden. Strange thing is like I hadn't picked up any football game in I don't even know how many years. Probably since I gave a shit about football.
Right.
And something about an event we went to that we'll talk about later in the show, I started playing NFL Blitz. I played it a lot while we were there.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I want to play a fucking football game now. So I picked up Madden.
How do the crowds look, by the way? Do they still look like hot garbage?
No, they look
2D?
pretty good.
Yeah?
The crowds
They're
look good
putting
now.
a lot of resources into the crowds now. The stadium looks real good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I my first like quick play game, I just played a Jaguars game in Everbank Field, and I was like, holy shit, this actually feels like being there. It really did. Like,
Yeah.
it was incredibly well modeled.
Like, my wife has walked in and said, "Why are you watching football?"
Yeah.
I'm like, not. This is a video game.
I will say, like,
Why are you playing
Why are
your
you
football
playing the
game?
football game?
having not touched a modern day Madden since possibly even last gen, probably was last gen. Holy cow, option shock.
Yeah.
holy fuck. No, like, not just, like, playing the game, but, like, even just the menus. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
where the fuck is everything?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just...
They've bolted on a bunch of bullshit. to
Yeah,
Madden.
I just wanted to play a quick game just to see how it felt, and then, like, I want to jump into the career mode thing, because if, as I was saying to Mackie, if they even brought, like, 2 of the people over that wrote Fight Night Champion, like, I hope that every EA thing, like, people that were involved with that work on something else, because that still just remains,
Yes.
like, the single greatest sports campaign thing I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't jumped into it yet, but
Okay.
I
Yeah, I played what the trial would let me play,
Mhm.
which is like the first 3 chapters of that story. It hasn't gotten Fight Night Champion crazy or anything like that, but it's crazy sincere in a way that I wasn't expecting, like really awkwardly sincere. And then they do some batshit wizardry with football mechanics that are just like you are somehow controlling your pass with your mind, like you're a quarterback trying out for the NFL. And there are various moments where you have to make a throw properly, and you're like, it switches into first-person mode, and you are controlling the football with your mind to get to the receiver. And I'm like, what the fuck do they think football is? Like, who did aliens make this part of the Madden game? This shit is really weird. So, yeah, that
Flip
story
6
mode.
3-hole.
Story mode's something else, man. It's something. I can't imagine where that goes.
Hmm.
I wonder if you become like the first psychic player in the NFL.
yeah. Full disclosure, I did like a buy one get one 50% off thing here recently. So some of these I've picked up. Like I actually picked up Assassin's Creed Origins, but I mean I barely installed the game and did the first tutorial fight and then got trapped in the tomb and couldn't figure out how the fuck I was supposed to get out. So I just stopped that for now, but that's why I didn't really chime in. But my experience with Madden is like I've played one game and then just gotten lost in the menus for a few minutes and then moved on to something else.
When you played Madden, did you do the thing where you can like play this week's game?
Yeah,
like
that's
they
exactly
updated.
what I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a pretty cool new thing Madden has done.
Yeah,
to where
that was like one of the first options. So I was just like,
Tell me about this.
well, so what they've done is they've gotten rid of the real commentary team so that they can have their own in-house commentary people. And what they do is, after the week's games, they update all of the commentary in the game so that if you go in and you play, like you say you play Jaguars versus Colts, which just happened, the commentary is updated so that the rest of the season is all referenced in your game.
Oh, wild.
Yeah.
yeah, and also roster updates are built right into it now.
Yeah.
Like they've talked about doing away with the yearly Madden thing.
Mhm.
This feels like the
Madden
groundwork
as a
for that.
service.
Yeah, this
It's
feels like the
coming
groundwork.
But that's
28.
almost better. I mean, I could go
Yeah.
2 years between Maddens and just have them keep doing this. I mean, it's really cool the way what they're doing is how they're making a game that you're just jumping into totally relevant. I was playing that Colts game later that afternoon.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
But
yeah,
also-
that's exactly what I did. I mean, I got the game and I was just like, pick your favorite team. All right, the Jaguars, I guess, because I'm from here.
uh-huh.
And then I was like, play now, the live game. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Just make football go. I want to see what the graphics look like and how this controls and stuff. So.
Yeah, and it's like commentary update.
And I immediately put it into like our full ass arcade mode, the arcadiest mode I possibly could, because I was like, I don't want entries and all this other, I don't want to like simulate football.
Right. The one real dumb thing that they've added though is like after every play, like just fucking experience points shoot out of all your players, and you're
my
like,
God.
what on earth?
Yeah.
It's just these green numbers are shooting out of your men when you do things.
I'm sure that's a
Experience
visual thing you
pinata.
can turn off. I
it
haven't
has to
gotten in
be.
there yet.
Yeah. Because it's like your dude who makes a sack gets 20 experience points, and then everyone else on the field gets 1 point. You're like, yeah.
Good job for surviving the play.
Yeah. So, yeah, Madden 18 is pretty cool.
Mhm.
So I want to talk about For Honor for a second for a various couple of reasons.
Are you the man who will fight for honor?
Yes, sort of. So
Strong words.
there was a weird random like, hey, this game is $10 at Amazon for some dumb reason. I'm like, okay, that's my jump-in point. I'll do that. It's going to be Xbox X enhanced. Let me get that. So I got it, and I played through the story mode, and I was like, wow, that looks pretty good. Then I found out the update didn't drop till today. And I'm like, that's a good-looking game even without it. I can't imagine how... And people in the forums were having the same kind of... They were like, did I get the patch? I don't know. This game looks amazing. And people were like, no, you didn't. It's not out yet. And everyone's like, it does look amazing, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So For Honor is basically Rise, but with a little more depth to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just clunky combat that you never quite get the hang of, but the idea of it is kind of cool. It's
Okay.
fucking knights versus samurais versus Vikings, and that's interesting.
Did you play any of the multiplayer?
I tried. I played some of it. I played some capture points and stuff like that. But I mean, the bulk of the game is meant to be an online thing, and it's this constant like push and pull tug thing of, you know, all your points go into whichever faction you've chosen, and then at the end of the month, who has the most points or whatever like that. If you're into that, this game really seems to be embracing the fuck out of that. Like, they are just going for it entirely. But I don't know. That part wasn't interesting enough for me to stick with.
It's a shiny game that I kind of immediately lost interest in.
Yeah. I mean,
it just looks really good, though.
yeah, it really does. And, you know, there's some satisfying combat if you time it right. Like, you fuck dudes up. And ladies. You can be a lady Viking and
You can.
lady samurai and
Fuck them up.
yeah, and you do. So they've also started doing this thing where they are enhancing Xbox 360 games. So not only are they backwards compatible and still run a little better, but they are actually, some of them, going back in and ticking some checkboxes to making them run super better.
Well, in most cases, they're like where you would have like distance blur or something like that, or screen pop. They're just like, no, it can do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put- let
they're
it- put
setting
all of
level of detail
Yeah.
to
Yes.
as far as it'll reach.
It's weird. A lot of these games are like, they're using the regular assets. It's just, it's running better, and it knows not to, you know, the gatekeeping is off, and it's just, the game is running free. So I fired up Skate 3 for the first time. I am not a video game skate person of any
I have heard
kind.
people on Twitter requested that game for a while.
Yeah. Yes.
From Larry Herb.
Yes,
Xbox Live's Major Nelson.
they did.
Interesting.
In much the same way, some of us would request from
Yeah.
Larry Herb, Xbox Live's Major Nelson,
Mm-hmm.
Where My Skull, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand.
Right. If you're listening, Larry.
What about
please.
Black Ops 2? Is that available?
Yes.
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 Oh.
Blops 2 is out. That's why we've moved
Oft
on
requested.
to Where My Skull.
Mm-hmm.
Please make sure to bother Larry every Tuesday, even though the Xbox One, Xbox 360 backwards compatibility team is on vacation for
Yeah.
a while.
Whatever. That's bullshit.
Mm.
Get back to work.
Yeah.
I don't
Back
go
in
to
the salt
vacation like that.
mines.
Yeah, we just take a fucking month off.
Yeah. But okay, trick games never have clicked in my brain. I can't do them for whatever reason. And so I didn't get very far into Skate 3 because after about 2 hours it becomes very trick heavy, as obviously it's going to. But man, that game is fucking nuts. That game is fucking crazy. It's got weird full motion video and a million real life skater dudes pretending to be various other professions in this weird Skate Town, USA dumb world that this thing is. And Jason Lee is your skating coach, and he's like this grizzled old guy. It's all very charming and cool and fun in a way that you would think one of these games is. It just gets to that hump for me where it's like, I can't do this anymore. My brain won't process these tricks. But it looks ridiculous it looks like a game that came out 6 months ago.
That's crazy.
Visuals of that game look insane. It's like the player movement is the only thing that tips you off that it's a last-gen game, because the movement is kind of jerky, but everything about that looks fucking nuts. Like, this box is a fucking wizard. Like, I mean, just everything I'm throwing at it, it's like, I've never seen my games look this good. This is fantastic. So, that was,
I am so happy you're having that.
Yes.
No, and I mean that sincerely. Like, I've had that feeling with computers many a time where it's like new video card. It's like, holy God, that game, wow. Yeah, but
So in saying that, does it feel like they made the right choice, making it kind of a half-step console, where it's like, hey, you're running everything you already had, everything's already here, and it just looks a lot better.
I think the point will be moot in a year. I mean, when everything is enhanced for it. I mean, all the new stuff.
Yeah.
Right now, it just feels like we're still trying to catch up with what we already have or was already in development. Whereas a year from now, everything will be just out the
Yeah,
box.
but it just feels like it sidestepped the whole, like, all right, here's your launch titles thing. And, it's like all these new games that are like, all right, that looks pretty good, and it's not a matter of, okay, I've played this game before, and now I play it here, and it looks way better.
I don't have a problem going forward if this is what we're doing. I was skeptical about all of this stuff for a long time, like these half-step consoles, but if your library comes with, and there is a notable improvement each time, I am all for it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I 100% agree because I want this like now it's a new generation, buy things all over again,
Yeah.
and that old stuff is lost. Like that's why we've said for years like buying things on a computer feels like you're buying your archive copy.
Mhm.
Like it will always be there
Yeah.
no matter
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, and with all those original Xbox game, not a lot of them, but like 10 or so, the original Xbox games that are now playable, and those play in some of them in native 4K, which is insane.
You get all 7 of those polygons in 4K.
They look
I
really
gotta say,
kind of
Crimson
good.
Skies looked really good.
Yeah.
Does it look
and
really
on
good?
a
'Cause it
regular
looks-
1080p set.
It looks rough on the original Xbox.
Ninja
Yeah,
Gaiden
though.
Black,
But that was
looks-
also 720. Like there were very few games on that one, or 720i actually, usually most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah, that upscaled on a newer TV actually looks worse.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird smoothing they're doing that
Mhm.
looks good. Like it's weird because obviously you've got the low poly stuff in like the backgrounds and stuff, and the menus are the thing that look like shit.
yeah, menus,
Actually, were they
text.
480p? Was it mostly 480p?
It was
most
480p.
yeah.
most
yeah.
of them were. There were some that
Some
were
games, yeah.
720, but like not really a
Yeah, there
lot.
weren't that many.
But
There were a couple that were
that
1080i.
upscaled on a newer TV, like oh my god, when I go look at like things that were DVD now, they look like ass,
Yeah.
and DVDs used to look nice when it was the TV was designed for that
Mhm.
resolution.
Yeah.
But yeah, I from the new catalog of stuff that just came out to the stuff that came out on the original Xbox, this thing is just playing games at a ridiculous level of fidelity that for the first time I'm looking at a thing and going, this looks fucking amazing. Whereas with the Xbox One and the PS4, I was like, yeah, I think we're at a point now where I'm never going to really notice a difference anymore. And now I'm like, oh man, games can look a lot better. So
The only thing that bothers me about this half-step stuff is that we went from you guys have bought 3 consoles this generation.
Mhm.
That's like $1 billion.
3 Xboxes.
it is,
Yeah,
yeah.
3 Xboxes.
yeah.
But that's like $1 billion.
It is.
If they're going to do a new iteration on this console every 2 years, are you going to continue to upgrade?
Well, to be fair, the only reason I bought an S was to get the 4K player. Like there was no reason for me to upgrade. There's no benefit over the S, other unless like you're like I need more space.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Yeah.
you guys bought them.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Both of you bought.
I'm a sucker for a new console. Like when one comes out, I'm like, fuck everything. I'm selling everything in this shelf to get it. That's me on every new thing that comes out.
So
of it.
when they bring out, well, yeah, Chuck. I should realize who I'm asking this to. But so just when they come out with a new console, when they come out with the Xbox One X2
Mhm.
in 2.5 more years, you're right there buying a new one
depending on what
because they're gonna say you get Ultra HDR this time.
depending on what the selling
or-
point is, I
Okay.
watched enough videos pre-release of this thing to where I was like, you know what, that's going to look awesome on my TV. So, and then I can upgrade to a 4K TV and it's going to look even better. Which
Okay.
at this point I can't even fathom that, and that's an awesome feeling to think I could get a better TV and it's going to look even better. That's insane to me. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's the cheapest solution to getting a 4K machine.
Mhm.
You know?
Absolutely.
True,
Is-
true.
is
I
really-
mean,
because the PS4 Pro, while
That's-
it'll do 4K, it isn't a big enough step up
And it's not
from
really
the regular.
4K
yeah,
PS4.
and it won't play the discs. Like,
I'm
if
not
you're gonna
trying to
start-
compare compare one console to the other. I
Mhm.
think. I mean,
Yeah.
if we try to do that, obviously,
I'm just saying
the
what it is
PS4
right
Pro
now
is,
is like if you want to get into 4K gaming, if you just bought a 4K TV, like this is the best cheapest solution
mean,
right now.
honestly, I know this is like a thing people haven't talked about in a while, but this feels like a loss leader. This feels like they're putting this console out and they're taking a loss or
Probably.
making almost no profit on it.
Hmm.
Because just PC hardware wise, and granted I know it's Microsoft and they can buy a billion units of whatever thing to drive the cost down, but there is no way you would get the power that's in the Xbox One in a PC for anywhere close to $500.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be $1,000 machine minimum, I think.
Yeah, because those Steam machines I was looking at in this price range were considered mid-range.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, you're not. It's you know.
I just mean video card alone. I think is like a $400 video card.
Yeah.
At minimum.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so
And granted, like
I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot
yeah.
that they can do to
Sure, like I said,
nuke
they're
the
buying
cost.
components and
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and they're not having to make a whole video card casing and
Right.
lots
They
of
also,
things.
They also don't have the video card dick swinging advertising.
or Bitcoin's fucking them.
Yeah, overhead.
Mhm.
Seriously, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
cryptocurrency is fucking PC gaming right now.
Yeah.
But yes,
it's
anyway.
also fucking up the power consumption of the entire world.
Okay. Well, we have some more 4K games to talk about on the Xbox. Yeah. So Skate 3. You got any more to say about that? We
No,
kind of
it's
veered off there. For a second.
it's a great game that I don't want to play any more of. But I would watch someone play that game.
Mhm.
That's a game I would watch someone stream. I would be like that. I want to see some high level Skate 3.
I wish I had been good at the trick system in
Yeah.
it. I probably could do it now because I'm far enough out of the Tony Hawk mindset because I was like a fucking genius at Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
And trying to go to the whole like, flipping the sticks around and doing that stuff, just my brain was not computing any of it at all when Skate came out.
Yeah.
Originally. So yeah,
It's
I
just,
should give that a shot.
yeah, tricks and fighting game combos. I just never gonna happen for me.
Mm-hmm.
Never gonna happen.
Quick one because I didn't spend a ton of time with this yet. I picked up COD World War II
Mhm.
and the bundle of games to try on the Xbox. I basically just fired up a bot match just to see kind of what the graphics were going on and didn't want to start the campaign yet because COD campaigns to me are best spent in 1 or 2 play sessions because they're not terribly long.
Right.
So I was just like, let me see what this looks like, and yeah, it looks good. But I mean, this is like it. This is one of those ones where it's like, I could have just bought this on the PC and done the same thing.
Yeah.
Sort of deals.
Sure.
But easier in theory.
Mhm.
I will say I was feeling a little bit about what you were saying about how the enemies blend in thing
Yeah.
in this. Like, it does feel like a little bit of a problem on modern day shooters, and I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if you just usually it feels like with COD I just learn to train my eye to pick the like pixels are moving
Mm-hmm.
here kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's getting a
Damn
little bit of that.
camouflage.
Getting a little bit of that. I mean,
Yeah, it's just when the fidelity gets so good on everything.
Yeah.
It's tough for anything to stand out.
Plus, you get distracted by you just like looking at everything. Just like,
Mhm.
wow, look how good this looks. Oh, I'm dead.
but see, to me, unlike Wolfenstein, like Call of Duty, still, it's like I point gun, and if I miss, it's like I did that, not the game. Feeling like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, now of the batch of games that I did get, the one I did spend the most time with is NBA 2K18.
Mm-hmm.
I went double sports.
You did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hooray, sports ball.
Uh huh.
Yeah, of all of them, this is the game that I was like, I think is showing me the most.
Okay.
In terms of graphics. I say all that, and I've now started the career mode twice. I got a couple games into the actual season, and then kind of realized I made a bad choice of teams for several reasons. I don't keep up with sports ball, so I mean, most people are just going to be like, well, yeah, obviously. But childhood favorite, I picked the Bulls as my favorite team, which meant like,
Ooh, they
you're
suck.
you're going to be on the Bulls, and they are fucking terrible now. And
Yeah, they're bad.
I think their best player is also like their point guard.
Oh.
So that's what I wanted to play. So it meant I'm getting no minutes on a team that sucks. So I was like,
That's a rough career.
I was
right
like,
there.
let me do a little bit of research here and not go from childhood favorite to maybe like trying to strategize a little bit here.
Mhm.
And I went looking through and said, show me let's go through the best teams overall where the point guard happens to be the weak spot on their starting lineup because I'm coming for your job. So I basically started the career mode over, and I will say there are two mortal sins you can make in video game design development. One is making cutscenes skip by a single button press with no prompting, because I have lost cutscenes to time by doing that, just by setting my controller down in times. Because I've had some where you could skip a cutscene by bumping the triggers.
Oh,
So I would set the controller down,
Yep.
and it's like, fuck, I just skipped the cutscene.
And the
by
Elite does that a lot
Yeah.
too if
Yeah.
you set it down.
Yep. So that's bad, but also no skipping of cutscenes is equally bad. Like, give me a hold button to skip option on everything.
That's how Assassin's Creed.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought the new standard was. You hold button to do anything.
It really should be.
Yeah.
Like, then this doesn't have that. So all of these cutscenes that are basically the same thing all over again, I'm now watching until I catch up to where I was. But I feel
Well,
like
at least you'll catch that one you missed.
no,
you-
that wasn't on this. There is no skipping whatsoever on this.
Oh no,
I'm saying no, there's none. Like,
I got confused.
I was saying other games, yeah, just tap a button and you're, yep, skipping. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have a ghost friend yet?
no ghost friends in this so far. I mean, I do have a weird Asian female roommate that could die and become a ghost. I don't know.
Depending on the
I'm just
choices
saying.
you make.
I'm laying this out there. It's a possibility.
So you
of-
have an Asian female roommate.
She's weird. She's real weird.
I saw a cutscene with her. It's
Yeah.
weird.
She's not
She's
duck.
weird.
Yeah.
It's strange because maybe I skipped last year's 2K game. I'm trying to remember.
I think you did. Yeah.
because I mean I know I played like the first one where they were like we revamped the career mode, and then I played the Spike Lee one, and I think there was another one that I skipped.
Okay.
I know a lot of people shit on the Spike Lee one. I'm not a Spike Lee fan by any stretch of the imagination. I liked his Ghost Friend and all. And it's, to me, like, the Spike Lee I like is when Spike
I like
Lee...
this ghost friend.
I did. I like the Ghost Friend story. The Spike Lee I like is the Spike Lee that's, like, not trying to do something serious.
Yeah.
Like, so when he just, like, takes his head out of his own ass for just a little bit and looks around, that's the Spike Lee I like.
Yeah, that's all right.
So when it's like, I'm just saying, when it's one of his lesser subjects, like you know, he got game or whatever. Like I feel like, yeah, when you're not being so damn pretentious, I like your storytelling. Anywho, this one, I like that you create a player. You could do the horrific face scan if you want to, but then the story mode is pretty much like well locked in. Like. It is a crafted story mode where you are going to be referred to by a nickname. Like, your name will show up and everything, but, like, they have created a story that you went to college, were going to be drafted, and you're like, fuck basketball, I'm going to go be a DJ. I've got a calling, I'm going to go be a DJ, and I'm going to skip the draft. And then a year or two or whatever later, and you're like, that was a bad idea. I should try to get back into basketball again. So you make your way up through, like, playing street ball and whatnot. And so your nickname is DJ.
Okay.
Throughout this whole thing.
That
So no
makes
matter
sense.
what your
Very clever nickname. I
yeah,
like
whatever your name is, it's like, you know, everyone will refer to you as DJ.
Hey, DJ.
Yeah. I will say I like that. I feel there's no tactful way to say this. I like that they made the voice more neutral.
Okay.
I will say
the two choices before were very
there was-
polar opposites of.
Yeah.
You couldn't make a person in the middle of just like not wild caricatures of each side.
yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, they were extremely ethnically divided in their phrasing of things, and this one's much more neutral. Of like, yeah, whatever guy you make, this is probably gonna fit.
Yeah.
So,
That makes sense.
but
But let me tell you, when you get to the Madden storyline, it's got you beat for becoming a DJ is the reason why you didn't play sport ball.
oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. But no, I mean, I like it. It's got issues. I mean, they always do. But yeah, I still like it overall though. Like, there's some. I don't feel the need for their like online lobby thing. Seems really stupid, and it makes me feel like it takes longer to load things than it should. Just because like when you're in your game, you're just playing, but then like as soon as you exit a particular area thing, you're in this like common, almost feels like PlayStation Home, like where it's just like there are other NBA dudes running around
Okay.
and like emoting and
Can you dance?
yeah. I think there's some slash emotes, but like it seems so stupid, like, and so unnecessary. Like, just give me a fucking menu system. Like any virtual lobby thing in a game is just dumb and unnecessary.
They can. So
They can,
They
but
did.
like like there's longer loading times. I almost guarantee because it has to reconcile where everyone else's ass is. Instead of just like going, I'm going to Pops to get a new hairstyle. Like,
yeah. Good point.
I don't think it's called Pops.
No,
But
you're probably right.
that's Luke Cage. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, last thing really about the X, cautionary tale. If you have an internet cap on your bandwidth, let me tell you, you're going to come real close to hitting that the day or day after you plug in your new console, because it is going to patch the shit out of a bunch of games. And unless you have that feature turned off, you are going to get a pop-up from whoever your internet service provider is. In my case, Comcast, and they're like, did you know you've used 90% of your internet? And yeah, everyone in the family is also going to tell you that because they're getting the same pop-ups on their devices as well. So
Nice.
yeah,
That is a weird thing that Comcast does with that pop-up on your devices.
it really is. It's intrusive and annoying.
gross.
Yes, gross also. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, get used to it.
Okay. So, anyway,
Moving on.
to wrap up a game that we talked about last month, Harlow and I both finished South Park, The Fractured Butthole.
Bigger, longer butthole.
Yes. That game sure as hell goes places.
It never, like, thankfully, I feel like thankfully they never tried to outdo themselves from the first one,
They don't at all.
which I think is a good thing.
I don't think
because-
they hit the highs of the first game.
No,
at
I mean,
any point.
yes, but I also feel like you shouldn't try.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But it's like that moment where you go to Canada in the first game. I'm like, oh man, this is fucking awesome. And they don't even come close to doing anything like that.
No, I
So-
mean it never has any surprises in that regard.
No, it's never like, oh, look what they're doing with the genre of video games. It's nothing like
Yeah,
that.
I mean there's still some fuck. I can't believe you're doing this moments all throughout. But
There are that.
Yeah. But yeah, it thankfully, like I said, it never like 180s the gameplay or does a moment where something in gameplay just makes you go, holy shit, what? I
Yeah.
can't believe you're actually doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Still solid.
it is. It's a solid video game, and there's a lot of good jokes along the way. There's so many of them that, like we were saying, it's like you can't remember them 20 minutes after they've happened, but like when they hit, you will go, oh man, that's a good South Park joke right there. And they do a lot of stuff with their own lore that's kind of interesting. I think the game's ultimate villain for me is fucking delightful. I love every time this character enters into things. So,
All right.
yeah,
I will probably play.
it's real dumb.
Real dumb.
I will probably play Harlow's Steam copy since he's busy on an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
For a while.
You can borrow my Xbox copy.
I might do that.
Yeah.
Get myself some Cheeves.
You should get some Cheeves.
Yeah, Chiefs you care about.
Yeah.
Just in a Steam Chiefs.
I got all but one Cheeve.
Really?
Yeah, I have to fight Morgan Freeman.
God?
No, he just
Oh.
runs a taco restaurant.
God?
Yes.
Okay. Well, cool. Yeah. I know I'm going to play that just to hopefully make it before the Fody episode. Something else I was trying to catch up on for Fodies, because it seems to have like this universal internet praise, is Nier Automata, which I started back in May and had not touched for literally 6 months. So I went back. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to play some Nier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know me. I am a person who, in game design, I don't mind giving up convenience if it means more immersion in the game. You know, like if fast travel feels like it would break the game, I'm okay with taking fast travel out if you've justified it enough.
Yeah.
This game feels like it's gone too far in the realm of immersion and taken out all of the realm of convenience, because there's just some design decisions that are just like, fuck you, man. Like, because your powers are equipped by putting chips on it's basically a bar that comes down from the screen, and your chips may take up 6 slots or 8 slots or 7 slots or 12 slots. Imagine the bar coming down from the top of the screen, and your chip has a certain slot that it can fit in. You know, but if your chip overlaps another chip, you have to remove that chip and slide it. It won't auto-organize. Basically, like, I got 64 slots. Just let me fucking fill them however I want. But no, if you decide to try and put it on this part, oh, well, then you have to move these down here and you have to slide things around. And it's just like, why are you wasting my time doing this shit? And then one of the boss fights, I continue to die over and over and over. And you have to do a corpse run each time. Luckily, with a boss fight, it just respawns you in the arena at the phase of the boss fight that you died at. So luckily, I didn't have to do the very first section again. I just had to do the last section. But every time I went to my corpse, you pick it up and it goes, okay, do you want to chip the quips? Do you want to equip the chips that you already had? And I believe the default is no. And at some point, I was just so sick of doing it. I was just like, all right, more pop-up boxes, XXXXX. And it unequipped all my chips, which means like the auto heal when you get below 10% health wasn't happening anymore. And so you have to navigate their system, which is you have to tap down, you have to select which health item you want, and you have to hit circle.
Okay.
Game doesn't pause while you're doing this. Man. And on top of that, it's a Platinum game, so the combat is designed by Platinum, so it is not my shit in any way at all. It's fucking terrible, and you're fighting the camera the entire time. And I still cannot figure out why people love Platinum games so fucking much. Because they all play like complete dog shit. The combat is always bad. Doesn't matter. It's Vanquish, Bayonetta, Nier Automata. Combat sucks in all of them. And I like it, and I guess it's one of those things that will never ever click with me, but man, it's a good thing this game has a story that I actually am interested in, but it is fighting me every step of the way trying to play it. And to know that, and also you have your sidekick that comes with you is another robot guy. And he is just like,
Is it Big Bo?
no. But he, like, you encounter this one part where, like, you're running around, and this game's really heavy-handed with this message too, but you know, you're on the planet, humanity's been extinguished, there's only robots left, and there's little robots running around, and like, you know, you meet up with them and like, I'm happy, I like things, you know, and they'll be saying stuff like that, and your guy's like, we should probably kill all these robots. And I'm like, whoa, slow down, Johnny Genocide, what the fuck? And then like, and he just keeps like needling you. He's like, aren't we going to kill all these robots? And they're like, I found a flower and it made me happy. You know, and like they're literally running around saying shit like that, where it's like, and they're like, and then when you start attacking them, they're like, oh my God, don't hurt me, please. Oh God, no. And they're like running away as you're fucking murdering them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, we need to make sure all these robots are dead. Every one of them, they got to go. And then eventually you get to a boss fight where they all form together and they give birth to a human. A like a full-sized human baby man pops out.
Okay, yeah.
And they're like, holy shit, it's a new life form.
Uh-huh.
And guess what Johnny Genocide decides?
Kill it.
We have to kill this thing immediately. This thing cannot live. It has to die immediately.
You shouldn't pal around with this thing.
And you don't have a choice. You don't. You have to kill that thing.
Oh.
Or you can't exit the boss arena. Or it will just kill you. Because Johnny Genocide decides he has to keep shooting at it until it will attack you guys.
Maybe it's going somewhere. Maybe.
I have been told you play the game from his perspective in the second playthrough or whatever. Because this game is like basically, you know, you do your first one, you're your character. The second one is you're playing as his, and then like the third one is a different character, but you can skip most of the game and just play certain sections that character is involved in, something like that.
All right.
But the design and like the levels that you go to and the areas you go to are really inventive. Like one is an amusement park that all these little robots are running around in and they're happy in. And it's like, that's really cool looking. Like it's this, you know, abandoned human amusement park that these guys live on. But, you know, there's a lot of neat ideas like that. But man, when you actually have to fight things, fuck off, game. Or if you have to rearrange your chips so that you can set your powers, and you know you can have a pop up when you can go fishing. Which yes, you can go fishing in the game, even though I have yet to catch anything.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's like that takes up chip slots to equip that. There's just, I don't get it, man. Like I don't get why why the dude who designed this game, I forget his name, why he's made everything so goddamn hard to do. And just inconvenient to do. And I don't feel more immersed. I just feel fucking annoyed. So
You should stop playing that. It sounds like you're having a bad time.
I'm going to put it on the easiest setting possible and
Okay.
just go from there.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to people, you can just buy the trophies. If you
I've
have enough
heard that.
credits in
Yeah,
the game,
I've heard that.
you can just go to a vendor who's
yeah.
like, "Oh, what trophy you want? All right, here."
I
Plunk.
like that. That's a
Yeah.
good system.
Your screenshot will be real awesome. Be
Yeah.
like a vendor
Vendor.
buying a goddamn trophy from
All
you.
right with that.
Sounds like you far from enjoyed near.
You're right. Nailed it.
I know. That's why I said it. I knew it was gold before it came out.
All right, Chuck.
Well, that's
I
so
don't know
bad.
what this game is, but tell me about it.
Okay, great. Okay, so working in the movie industry, as I did for a bit in the 90s, there was a fear and panic amongst a lot of people that interactive movies were coming and were going to ruin movies forever.
Boy, were they wrong.
Every 6 months, you would see this thing where it's like, there's a new movie at the theater. You push a button and you decide what happens next. It's going to change movies, and it never happened. So
Not yet.
this game Late Shift came out, and I wanted it because it was a full motion video game, and I love those fucking things. Well, it's not a game. It's an interactive movie. It's flat out an interactive movie where you're just choose your own adventuring through this thing.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that it's a pretty good movie. Like, it's not. You would think you're going to get like bad acting or just shitty production values or a bunch of green screen bullshit or something like that. No, this is really awesome. It's a heist movie.
Continue.
It takes place in the UK.
Boy.
You're like this shitty college student who's working in a parking garage, and you just get swept up into this car theft / jewel heist thing that happens. And along the way, you were given these choices that are very compelling in terms of what would I do if I was in this situation, or what would I do if I was in a movie. And from my understanding, the story branches in drastically different directions to where you can get to the end and it not be even remotely close to someone else's playthrough. And it's really good. It's about 2.5 hours of content, I think. And I just fired it up late one night. Like, I just want to see what this is. And it was like 3 a.m. when I was done. I was like, I have to see this whole thing to completion. This is awesome. It's really fun. I mean, understand, it is not a game. It is just a button prompt will come up every once in a while, and you either select your dialogue or you decide to run away or stay or, fight or something. But
So how long is one playthrough?
I think
Like-
2.5, 3 hours.
Okay, so you could probably get a lot more out of that doing the branching paths
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and just when it was over, I was scanning through the achievements. I was like, how would anyone even get to that point? Like, it just seems like that would have to 8 choices ago. I would have had to have gone this totally different direction to end up there. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
How much was it?
It's like $7.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's not that much.
I might do that.
It's really, it's fun to poke at, and
I may have it in my Steam library.
yeah. It's a little hitchy, especially when you make the decision and it chugs for a second to try and figure out where it's going. That's like the only.
That's when it's seeking the chapter.
Yeah,
on the
I was
list.
gonna say, it's
exactly.
the-
But it's like you shouldn't be doing that. But other than that, I
Maybe
mean,
they did it on purpose. Like maybe they
Maybe.
quite literally were like, people were used to this on,
maybe
Laserdisc.
maybe it's like people aren't going to be able to take it if it seamlessly just moves to the next thing. They'll think they aren't making a choice at all. It's just going to the next scene, whether they know they're doing it or not. It's good. I would say that is a good experience. But like I said, it's not a video game. But one of those that is a video game is Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy
I
series.
hear you make choices.
You do. You make choices. Some characters remember those choices.
Yeah.
So this is a lot like the Batman series in that they are doing their own thing. They are just taking the story in their own direction. And it's basically, it's like maybe the first movie happened, but it's not acknowledging the second movie's events because things happen in this that totally contradict the second movie. So it's just like, okay, they all met up and now they're in space having adventures. And now here's a story of their adventure.
Is Groot little or big?
He's normal sized.
Okay.
So they could just be saying they all got together, the first movie ending didn't happen, here we go. You meet Mantis in a totally different way, completely different way. I understand it also contradicts the comics, but it contradicts the movie too. So that's totally
the
different.
Batman one was like completely.
Oh yeah, the
divorced
Batman
from
one
any
was
sort
just
of-
its own deal completely,
Yeah.
and that's what I liked about it because it wasn't familiar in any way, and you felt like you were kind of crafting your own Batman story. This is a little more directed, but it's like super colorful, and there's a bunch of licensed songs on the soundtrack, which helps a lot. They've got that Guardians of the Galaxy mix in there.
How are the voices?
They're not bad. They
Okay.
really aren't bad. I can't think of any of them that are offensively bad.
That's
so and the dude doing Rocket is spot on. Like that's completely hard to tell. I was like, wait, did they get Bradley Cooper and no one else for this? They didn't, but
they just got the best Bradley Cooper guy.
But it's just weird when once again characters from The Walking Dead, when those voices show up, you're like, oh, okay, hi, Clementine, how are you?
No.
Space alien Clementine. Yeah, that game goes in interesting directions, especially the first episode, which I would say does a thing where you're like, wait, what? And the characters also react that way, like, this happened? Are you kidding? So it seems like a pretty big deal. So yeah, that's surprisingly pretty good. But, I think now Telltale fired everybody and they're changing their entire setup, so who knows if this is going to continue.
Well, it feels like Telltale they over-franchised themselves.
They did.
I mean, they were trying to put out 4 or 5 things at once.
Yeah.
And
It's just...
and they didn't have any team working on the freaking engine.
Yeah,
so.
that's their biggest problem, is that the engine just is garbage. But their storytelling in these last 2 have gotten really good. The Batman and Guardians stories are better than you would expect. So, and then I'll round this out with some classic gameplay bullshit.
Yeah.
So there's a game called Thimbleweed Park, which I believe was a Kickstarter thing. This is made by Ron Gilbert,
I was
and
gonna say,
it's classic Maniac Mansion style. You've got a
list of verbs on the bottom.
yes, and an inventory and branching characters and all that stuff. It's cute and charming, and one of those games if you were into those adventure games back then. I never played much of them. I played Maniac Mansion on the NES, but I didn't really get into it, and so the obtuseness of those games is really glaring for someone who's not used to them, like having to just interact a dumb thing with a dumb thing and maybe it'll make the whole thing work. Just seems real stupid. And also, I feel like my career on a daily basis is, how do we fix thing? Well, let's try this dumb thing and jam it in there and see if that works. I feel like I'm doing this Rube Goldberg creation every day at my job. So coming home and doing it in a video game where I like, okay, I have to think, do I take this piece of paper and put it in the microwave and then, wait for the bird to fly through and open the door at the right moment? It's just...
Well, I mean, that seems to me, when I think about LucasArts games and Sierra games back then, so much of that was having this item and going, I wonder how this works with this. And that was kind of just the whole, it wasn't even like thinking through it logically, like, oh, well, you would do this to do this.
Right.
It was just like, I wonder what happens when I put that paper in the microwave. Does it catch fire? What
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there was that.
Oh, there was a bunch of trial and error, that kind of stuff. Like, what happens if is this game really smart enough to where they put in an option for that to happen?
Yeah.
There's a lot of inside baseball stuff in this game, in the dialogue about adventure games, which gets old real quick. Like, they are just full on just talking about the programming of adventure games where characters should not be doing that. And they're just like, yeah, old games used to have to save all the time. You shouldn't have to do that now. You'll be fine. It's just characters talking to you, and it's like, okay, guys, come on. But it's if you like those games, it's one of those games.
Okay.
But then if you want like super old school point and click adventure-y kind of dumb games like that, there's a collection out called the 8-Bit Adventure Anthology, which takes 3 NES versions of games that were... They may have been on the Apple II and stuff like that. These are like really old school.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is Shadowgate, Deja Vu, and Uninvited. So it's like a medieval game, a detective game, and a spooky haunted house game. And they are the same kind of thing. You got your verbs, and you've got your inventory, and you've got this kind of static graphic screen that you can poke around at and do stuff. Shadowgate, I played the shit out of when I was a kid. So much so that the first hour of playing Shadowgate now, I remembered all of the dumb bullshit in exactly the right order of what to do and where to go. And then just got completely boned like I did when I was a kid. Like, I don't know anything else. Like, I'm looking at like inventory and the stuff that's the empty holes in the world, and I'm like, how would that fit in there? What do I have to do?
Does it feel like it's a straight port of
Oh,
what
it absolutely is.
Okay.
It totally is.
So you can totally just screw yourself and have to start over type thing. Like, there's no...
Well, the thing about Shadowgate that I think maybe the original game was like this is that if you die in Shadowgate, you basically restart at the last screen you were on. So it doesn't kick you all the way back out, and there's no continue limit or anything like that. So you can...
But I seem to remember from games like that, like you could use an item that you needed somewhere else, and you're never getting it back. So you could basically lock yourself out of beating the game.
I think in at least the case of Shadowgate, which is the only one of the three that I played it last night through to completion. I only sampled the other two, but it seems like anytime you use an item incorrectly, you die. So you can't
That's
like
one way to do it.
You can't break something or lose something and then you're boned in the rest of the game. It's like if you break the wrong thing, you get sucked out into space.
You get eaten by a grue.
Yes, exactly. Something pops out and fucking eats you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used a guide through the rest of Shadowgate just to see it, and immediately realized I would never, in a million years, as a kid, think about to do this to that, and as an adult would never want to think about doing this to that. I would just never in a million years would I have ever done those things. But that's another game. I think it's like $7-8, something like that.
Yeah.
It's basically 3 ROMs with a, they've done some outer stuff for the marquee and stuff like that, and updated it a little bit. But it's basically just those 3 games. But if those were your jam, and Shadowgate was definitely my jam as a kid, these 3 are pretty cool. So,
well, Chuck.
yes.
Satan poses nude for you, and I have proof.
What? What's happening?
I'm going to talk about insults, sir.
Oh.
Oh, sir, the insult simulator.
Okay.
Somewhere along the way, I
How
picked
did you
this.
find this?
Somewhere along the way, I got this, I'm sure, in a Humble Bundle.
Okay.
This is kind of one of those weird little things that I'm sure it's fairly easy to craft, and they have kind of run with it. Like it's a fairly simple, bare bones system, and they have put out DLC and other versions of the game. It's like sort of like a Five Nights at Freddy's thing. It's like, oh wait, I just heard of that. There's 5 of them.
Oh,
what the
right.
fuck is going on? Like, so it's Oh Sir, this insult simulator is kind of like Mad Libs the game.
All right, go on. I'm
but
in.
it's just contrived little situations where you are having basically an insult battle with somebody else. Not another actual human. I mean, I guess there might be multiplayer stuff, but and then there's just words will pop up on the screen, and you have to kind of pick the right tense of or the right noun, verb, things like that in the right order, so you can string things together. But as somebody chooses something, it comes off the board.
Okay.
So you can't.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you have to like you can try to go for combo points, but if you screw yourself by like doing an and then there's nothing else to and, then you've ruined the insult and you get no points. So it actually is like a fighting game. You actually have, depending on how good your insult is, you take part of their life bar off and you just go back and forth with this other person. So the basic game is, it's all very Monty Python inspired, you know, especially the Monty Python insult things and Holy Grail and whatnot. So some of the situations are like there is actually a pet store where you're complaining about a dead parrot, and then it begins an insult fight. But then you've got wacky. You've got wacky characters that they throw in there. Like you can be H.P. Lovecraft in one section, and certain people. Oh, and James Hong is the voice of one of them.
Go on.
So certain people like I'm sure because they couldn't get the rights to like use one of his characters, he's kind of somewhat generic, but it's kind of like he's Big Trouble in Little China, James Hong.
Okay.
But they couldn't really say that.
Sure.
So certain characters will have certain insults that are kind of unique to them.
Mm-hmm.
So H.P. Lovecraft will have a lot of like, and your soul will die in the abyss. It's like, whoa, okay. Like everyone else is just like talking about your mother's fat and everything like that.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a dumb little game that I ended up spending way too much time playing. It's dirt cheap on Steam and whatnot, but then there's like mobile versions of them too. Like there's a Hollywood version. So like I said, there's other scenarios and other voices, and then it's not much of a game. It's just a dumb little experience, and it's kind of fun. And I just sat and played it for too long one day when I was like, oh yeah, I have that in my Steam library. What is that? I am now curious.
That's how I end up playing half the games
Yeah.
I play. What is this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's a dumb little thing. Almost barely a game, but it will sometimes make you laugh, especially when you get the right combo of things going on.
Cool.
Anyway,
Yeah.
silly little games.
So
Speaking of silly little games,
yeah, we played some silly little games.
we did.
We
We
played
went
some silly big games too.
They were.
did.
They're large.
So for the 800th time annually, we visited Free Play Florida in Orlando at the hotel. They're not getting free advertising. Fuck 'em.
Sorry, guys.
Policy. It's policy.
Oh.
Let's just say their daughter's promiscuous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Yes. No, it was your exterminator.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we went down to Orlando and played
Right.
pinball.
Played a massive amount of pinball.
We did, yeah.
Let's see. Things that we checked off. We saw Billy Mitchell.
That's a given.
It's like old hat at this
yeah,
point.
right.
It's like we don't see Billy Mitchell. We were like, where's Billy Mitchell?
Right. That's
Yes.
yeah. We saw Billy Mitchell resplendent in his white suit and America tie.
Yep, and it's hot sauce.
South.
And of course, Walter Day.
Walter Day,
Traveling
yes.
always with Billy Mitchell.
Yes.
Walter Day shuffling nearby Billy Mitchell at any given moment.
Hoping that some of his score shakes
Yeah.
off onto him. So.
Yeah.
They did a new thing this year where they let Billy Mitchell walk around with a mic and he did all the announcements whenever there was any kind of. They didn't let the weird podcast people do the
Is
announcements.
that what was going on? Was
Yeah.
Billy Mitchell
It was
doing
always
the
Billy
announcements?
Mitchell
Okay.
doing the announcements. So
That
Is
makes
good.
it was odd because sometimes it just sounded like a dude talking, and
He's
you're like,
not
"Who's-"
really a public speaker.
He's like, "What? Who's talking into the mic? Put the mic down, citizen." But yeah, he would announce weird things like, "All right, we're gonna have a contest to see who can get the lowest score on Donkey Kong. Get up here." And then they
The
would just
lowest score?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that giant ass Donkey Kong machine in the middle of the room. They did a thing where it's like, who can clear level 1 with the lowest score?
Oh, okay, I was gonna say like that should be pretty easy.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
stand
just
there
stand
and
there
get
and
hit by the barrel.
Yeah.
Yay, 0 points.
Yeah, no, they were coming up with ways to entertain themselves. But yeah, Billy Mitchell was there.
The layout of the show was a lot different this year.
Yeah, it
They made one section sort of feel actually like arcadey,
Mm-hmm.
and then
There was a weird curvy bit.
yeah, there's a weird curvy bit.
It was oddly late. It was
They also made some changes to the hotel.
Yeah.
that made some stuff a little bit weird.
built another room
Yeah,
where we used to sit and smoke is now indoors.
yeah.
Yeah, it felt different enough. Like it didn't feel like the same room, and that's kind
Right.
of cool.
Smelled the same, but
Yeah, it did still kind of have that pool smell.
yeah.
Speaking of pool, we made a friend.
We did. We made some. We happened to run into some friends, some new friends from Duval,
Some local friends.
local friends. Yeah. So, if you're listening out there, Bam,
Duval, son.
Duval.
Extremely unlikely, but
You
never
never know.
no, I don't. He's a Renaissance man, so
But it was a good year. There was the option for the after hours pinballing.
This was the best idea.
that was money well spent, right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so you could get a little like not VIP, but little bracelet for the 11 to 2
Mm-hmm.
p.m. on Saturday, was it?
Yeah, Saturday night.
Saturday. And enough people didn't do that
Yes.
or did that and just weren't playing games. They were just standing around socializing that you could just play almost anything during that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, they had all the lights off, or not all the lights off, but most of the lights off, and music cranked up, and it was a good time.
Boy, let's talk about that music for a second.
You want to talk about Keith Apicary?
Well, was that the first guy?
No, that was the weird guy.
Well, the first guy was
The guy that was rapping over his own.
no. That
music.
was the second guy. The first
Yeah.
guy was just doing chiptune stuff, and it was pretty good.
He was going ham.
Yes.
That guy was doing great.
Yeah, he was fucking going for it. Now the
Yeah.
crowd, I think they misread the crowd in terms of what the people in the crowd wanted to hear, because most of the people who paid for the VIP thing were like pinball owners and,
Yes.
and middle-aged white dudes, where you could have just thrown in a playlist of 80 songs and they would have been like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, just put on Journey's greatest hits.
Yeah,
It's
right.
Fucking
Yes.
winner right there.
So
Play Jesse's girl.
because
Go down to the street to the one of those like dysfunctional arcades and just wheel the jukebox
Mhm.
back and
Yes.
sit it out there.
like the first guy was doing this chiptune set, and the chiptune stuff was really good.
Yes.
And he was fucking jamming. I mean, like, he was breaking a sweat, just going nuts at the board. And I'm like, dude, I admire your energy and your music is awesome, but the crowd does not give a fuck about what you're doing. And then, like, the weird guy got up there and just started rapping over his own raps. And it
look
was-
up Keith Apicary, because he is an experience. He is a weird gentleman, and
I stepped out for a second while that was happening. I was like, this is assaulting my ears. So
yeah, that dude's crazy.
yeah.
Or at least has no shame, and good for him on that, because I have his share of shame.
Yeah.
So I guess more importantly than how was our weekend? Like, what's new? What did you play? What was your like machine or table or of the show or
I
whatever?
barely got to play any of the new stuff, because it
Oh,
was like
yeah.
every time I'd go buy something that was new. I think I got to play the new Star Wars, because Stern's got a new Star Wars with a full monitor in the back glass, and
Mhm.
it's got a little screen in the play field and everything. I played that, and that was pretty neat.
That new Guardians
pretty
table is
neat.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
I was gonna say
People
the
seem to
new-
like it.
that
I
new
barely got
Guardians
to play
table is really solid.
Yeah.
And again, like just having the licensed music goes a long way.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of it's that same thing like the AC/DC thing. It's like when the music kicks in, when you can hear it, and
Mhm.
somewhere it's just like that goes a long way to making you want to play a table.
Yeah.
It really does. It get you in a good rhythm.
I was talking to somebody about the monitors in the back glass, and they're like, "Yeah, well, it's just a rip off of the Jersey Jack, table, because Jersey Jack did the Wizard of Oz with the monitors in it."
Yeah, but the Jersey Jack tables are bad.
They
I was
are.
gonna say I don't want to diss what Jersey Jack's trying to do, because it's another pinball company that's competing and doing innovative things, and I appreciate that.
I like their second one a lot better. Whatever that was called.
Yeah, that weird like cell phone table.
I don't
like
think I got
like
to
that
play
one.
that one.
Well, that wasn't
No, there was the
this-
Houdini one, and then there was
Well, I
the
played
Hobbit.
I played the Hobbit one. I don't like. I didn't like Wizard of Oz, but that
Pirates one is garbage.
Yeah.
The one at the show was anyway. It did not work well.
Yeah, I didn't play that one.
But whatever
somehow.
that disaster one with
Yeah.
the cell phone one, I
Yeah.
actually kind of like that one. a
That
lot.
one was fun.
But what I was gonna say is, like, Stern really knows how to build a pinball table, and they know what works well, and they may iterate more slowly, but their implementation is significantly better, because all of that stuff was so fucking polished. Like the Jersey Jack stuff looked like somebody was building Flash animations from 1998, and the stuff that on the Stern tables looked like it was built fucking yesterday.
Yeah.
Uh,
The Star Wars and
All
Guardians
the
tables
animations
were
were awesome.
really well done. And
Yeah, strangely, I couldn't even barely. You could barely hear the Star Wars one, which is strange for that one.
yeah.
But I will say, like, Guardians has jumped right into that. Like, well, if I have a spare $6,000-7,000, that's a table I will buy.
Yeah. It's a fun one.
Yeah.
They did a good job with that one. So
The only problem that I have that's a continued problem with Stern tables nowadays is, like, a lot of them are just there's a vast canyon in between the
Yeah.
flippers and anything else.
there's a lot of
just
empty space.
4.5 feet of nothing going on, and then some ramps and loops. I guess that's the way pinballers like them these days, because that's the way that Stern's building them almost exclusively. But I find them kind of I don't know. I like a little bit more going on the table.
Yeah.
Um,
So do I. I agree with you.
I would say I felt like this show was more almost evenly distributed between arcade cabinets and pinball than it has been in the past.
definitely.
It felt like it. I don't know if that was the layout or not, but
Yeah.
it did seem like there was probably more arcade stuff than.
And I also, well, I wouldn't say I definitely played more pinball than I did arcade, but I played more arcade games at this one than I have in many of
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
past.
we all
There
played
was
that
a-
4-player Warlords.
Yes.
Which
Yeah,
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you ever see a game called Warlords, it's a little cocktail table thing. Just sit down and play a round with 3 of your best buds
Yeah.
or worst buds, whatever. It's fun.
Yeah, that was real good.
Mm-hmm. We
but-
played a lot of, like you were saying, a lot of Blitz.
I sure did.
Like we just saw Blitz and we're like, Blitz?
and they had it turned just loud enough that it wasn't obnoxious to people around, but
Yeah.
when you were standing
Yeah.
there, it was nice and loud. And those cabinets just had good speakers on
Yeah.
them. That and NBA Jam,
Yeah.
like it would blast you while you're playing and not really annoy the rest of the arcade.
Played some Arch Rivals.
Yeah. I'm pleased to announce that I defeated Harlow in NFL Blitz.
Oh.
Yeah,
Um,
you did.
yeah. He creamed me every time
It is
we
a,
played.
is a great accomplishment for me because I'm usually on the losing end of either Blitz or NBA Jam.
Mhm.
Even though I love them, I'm terrible at them usually. But I
Yeah.
was on my
And
game.
They
so.
did have the not NBA Jam
Yes, they
that
had
shitty one.
NBA
Showtime.
Showtime. Yeah, or
Where it's
NBA
like
Midway or
it
something.
plays like sort of like Jam, but then the announcer guy's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No
also
Two Kids
not the
from it.
rosters that you love.
Yeah.
It's like permanent big head mode, and it's like it's weird looking.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah. There was one of like the shooty games with the actual gun. They had a Resident Evil thing there that had like an Operation Wolf style. It's one of those things where you have a physical gun that you're shooting, but it wasn't just a point and shoot game. Like the gun had movement to where you would move your player around.
That was at Game Warp like 3 years ago.
Okay.
And it's terrible.
It's bad. Yeah.
It's the worst.
But like
a friend of mine was trying to buy one, and I told him don't.
No.
It's the worst.
So it's like there's this big saucer underneath the gun, and you were just moving it forward and back to move your player around, and it's like I don't want to do any of this. Like,
No, it's terrible.
yeah, that was, and
It
there
was
was that
terrible.
Carnival.
Oh yeah, well, that wasn't good when it was new, but that one was also calibrated horribly.
Yeah, we were like,
Um,
are we shooting this?
Yeah, I had to aim like about halfway off the screen for it to register where I was going.
Lunar Lander was
I-
never on the entire weekend.
I was about to say I have a new obsession. I want to buy a Lunar Lander machine.
I've
Can I
been
make a
wondering.
suggestion?
I've been wondering
What?
about building one.
If you just get the Atari Anthology for Xbox, it's like
Uh-huh.
$7, and you can play all the Lunar Lander you want.
It's not going to have that control.
That's true.
That's
That's-
the thing.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, that's true. It
important
doesn't
thing
have
is
the-
that giant
Yeah.
fucking lever.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
I've
I-
been trying to figure out sort of slowly in my head how I would build a Lunar Lander emulated
I mean that
controller.
the emulated thing would not be hard, but I mean like making the controller interface with it might be
Yeah.
slightly difficult.
Yeah.
It's almost never going to look right because of that like vector sort of thing, but
I very much. That's one of those. I don't have many things of like really old. Like I don't even really have nostalgia for it. It's just something I've like picked up and I'm like I fucking want this.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I didn't-
like Moon Patrol. I have lots of nostalgia for.
Oh, sure.
That was just old enough that I didn't play that in the arcade when it was
Yeah.
new.
I want an Arkanoid swivelly cabinet thing.
That was a cute little Arkanoid cabinet.
It was. I
Yeah.
really liked that. Like it was. For a somewhat modern reference, think of those Megatouch machines
Yeah,
that
it was like
swivel.
a video poker thing in
Yeah.
a bar.
But it's just Arkanoid. That's all it did was
Mhm.
Arkanoid, and it had a really nice, satisfying knob. I was terrible at it, but I really enjoyed playing
I too
that.
have a very nice, satisfying knob.
I know.
Something I don't know about that weekend.
No, I'm just saying in general.
Oh, okay.
Nothing to do with
Oh,
Yeah.
all right then.
that week.
And I just know. I can tell.
That's fine. That's fair.
What else? What else was interesting?
What was
about
your
that show?
tournament table?
We did a
Oh,
Attack from Mars.
Attack from Mars
Yeah.
original.
But so yeah, they had one of the that's gotten reproed just like Medieval Madness has, but we found it. They had an original one too, which
Played better.
Original one that had been shopped.
Yeah.
it had been shopped. Yeah, some of those people like okay, so that's a thing I want to bring up.
Uh-huh.
Some of these people, I don't know where they're buying the rings for like the various bumpers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Some of them, like the rubber is just like extra super springy, and I don't like it. Like it's near impossible to trap the balls on some of these.
And I have a similar complaint about the rubber for the flippers. It's sort of an annoying thing that I've noticed over the last few shows that we've been to. A lot of people have been going to those like shiny, semi-translucent or differently colored flipper rubbers, whatever they call those things. And
Condoms.
yes, and those things are like the bounciest, also grippiest things in the world.
Yeah, like they either make pinball rubbers or super bounce balls. Like it
Right.
feels like the same fucking plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the old kind of like dusty looking flipper rubber rings, you know, where it looked like actual rubber or it looked like pink bubble gum. These are all like candy colors and shiny and shit.
Yeah.
And not only do they do things just bounce like crazy off of the flippers, they also induce hella spin.
Yeah.
Which is really, really weird, and I it's a direction that a lot of shop tables are going in that I don't like because it doesn't feel right.
I noticed it more this time, and I almost want to say maybe it was like the 2014. There was something near that Attack from Mars that we were playing where it was like it had it, and I was like, oh fuck this table. Like it's a good table otherwise, but God, you just like the softest of touch. Like I'm going to trap a ball, and it's like ping, just shoots up into the top. It's like all right.
Weird stuff. Just kind of a weird, picky. You know,
It was definitely noticeable this year.
If you play enough pinball tables, you'll find things that you hate about them, and this is one.
Yeah. So Attack from Mars, did that have the repro stuff or not?
It did. It had. So it wasn't not the repro table had the new shit too, but the old table that was shopped had
the good stuff.
No, it had the new stuff.
Aw.
So
but it still played.
It still
pretty
played
good,
really well,
and I thought it played better than the repros did. Because like
it did. It did.
Yes.
There's just something about the repros that's like
it's a little off.
Well,
they can get all the geometry right they want. They're never going to have the same.
Yeah, they don't feel exactly right. But I'll take Medieval
terms.
Madness because
most of those are.
I was going to say finding one that works 100% of an original
Right.
one is next to impossible.
Yeah.
It's either $10,000 for
Minimum.
Yeah.
well, that's apparently the prices have come down because of the repros. So it's $10,000 for an original that works, or it's what $6,000 for
Well,
a
you
repro.
could say I'm saying yes, that's true, but that castle will still break in a week. Like I just anywhere
Yeah.
you go, it's like unless someone is like on that, it breaks all the fucking time.
Yeah. What was I? So noted pinball designer Steve Ritchie. I got to play pinball with that dude.
I remember.
Which was kind of cool.
Did you get play with him, or did he push you out of the way?
The guy that owned the machine brought Steve Ritchie by to sign his machine, and so I'm stepped aside, and Steve Ritchie graciously asked if he could play through. And so he fucking destroyed that table too.
Yeah.
It was like
With the sledgehammer.
Yeah, he was just like,
Right.
well, enough of this shit.
This is the worst table I ever designed. Fuck you for buying it.
I signed it, and now fuck you. It was Black Knight 2000, and
That table played pretty good.
yeah, the guy that owned it looked like he crawled out of the sewer, but he maintained his game well. Like, dude had a fucking weird ass haircut and like strange cut off jean shorts, and
Dude was a fucking chud, but man, his table was good.
he might have been. I don't know. He was a nice guy.
Yeah,
So,
he was a
like-
chud with maintenance skills.
Yes.
You know?
He's a chud with HUD.
He's gonna punch me in the face next year. But no, it was like cool to watch the guy that designed the table just go fucking ham on it, and he wrecked that table. Most of the time, he was playing with the glass off as well because the owner of the table had pulled the glass off so it could be signed, and it just was making a bazillion fantastic mechanical noise as well. While the score just skyrocketed, so that was really cool. Also, I learned this weekend that Steve Ritchie was the one that designed Hyperball, which is like my favorite thing in the world.
Dumbest thing.
It's the fucking dumbest. But you know what, Chuck? You liked Fast and Furious Showdown, so
Oh, here we go.
suck a fat butt.
Suck
Now-
a fuck. Chuck.
Hyperball is the one where you're shooting all the little
Yep.
balls.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yes.
I don't like that game.
Once
I don't think you've done it
It's satisfying, but it's dumb.
No. I think you've been playing it wrong because you need to give in and gun face that. That's the only way you can possibly.
but you also need to pay attention to how to play that.
Oh
game.
yeah. I
If you pay a little bit of attention, it'll go a long way. And if anybody ever wants to donate any pinball machine to the BJ's Happiness Fund,
Hyperball's the one you want.
Hyperball is the one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd played that a few times because
Every-
every time I was like, someone would be rude and like they're one time out of their mom's basement for the year, bump into you and have no rule of personal space. You can always go over there to Hyperball and gun face your way to happiness.
Yeah. I will say this year seemed more in terms of like I'll look over at the guy next to me and it's the guy who made Tron playing Tron.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. Like, Gary Stern just walks by me and goes right over to the latest Stern table and I'm like, yeah, all right. It just seemed like there was a lot more creator interaction this year with their creations.
Yeah.
Whereas usually they seem like they're sequestered off to panels and stuff like that. So, and like the dude who did all like the Rampage art and all that stuff was there. He does Arch Rivals, and he did like a bunch. Like there was a row of all the games that he designed.
Space
Okay.
Ghost was there.
Yeah, Space Ghost was there.
George Lowe.
Yep.
Just,
There was.
I don't know why, but it seemed like a weird thing for him to show up to. But.
So
And he was interviewing people in the arcade/pinball. He interviewed somebody. I can't remember who it was. but
yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
It might have been Billy Mitchell. I don't know. But
They were all right there. So, I don't know. Things got weird this year in terms of like public events. Like I don't know when things took this turn, but like they did this thing where it was like, all right, 2 people put on pajamas and get into an ice bath, and then they play Street Fighter until either
Yeah.
they can't survive the cold anymore or one person wins.
What?
Yeah. They just started doing this weird double dare stunty bullshit, and it just like half the room was like, this is interesting. The other half was like, what the fuck are they doing? Get away from that.
And
It
then
was
the other half was going, "Shut the fuck up! You're talking too loud on the mic."
yeah,
Yeah.
That was
It
my
was-
half anyway.
I like that there
So,
are three halves. of
some
the-
people didn't just.
Yeah.
It's like, can you just
yeah, just back
somebody
off.
walk over there and tell him to take
Yeah.
the mic out of his throat,
yeah.
please?
But like at one point
They were trying some shit this year.
They were,
so-
yes. Like at one point in the console area, they were projecting Gradius on the screen, and someone was just narrating Gradius. And
Oh, that was the dude that was like Gradius Master or something like that, and he
Yeah.
was he was
Gradius
just
Maximus.
yes. He was. I watched that for like
He
5
was the
minutes.
headmaster.
Yes, yes. Headmaster Gradius Dumbledore. But he was like narrating all of the ways that you like can be a master at fucking Gradius, and like, oh well, if you, I'm gonna
Yeah.
take an intentional death here, and I'm gonna bring out the next fighter, and I'm gonna shoot 11 times in this corner, and then move over to the right. Kind of, just knew every little teeny tiny detail about maximizing
Yes.
everything about
His
that
Gradiousness.
game. Yeah, his Gradiousness. His Gradiousness, maximum Dumbledore, headmaster.
it seemed like they were trying things this year. It wasn't the same stodgy like, okay, in this room there's panels, and then that's it. They were like,
Yeah.
all
Do
right.
you feel like they were kind of bored of what it had been like?
I
Because it was
think they-
probably the same thing for so many years.
I think maybe they felt like they had to mix it up. I think they were like, let's really go for it and do some crazy shit. Because there were a couple of other stage events like that were
They
kind
need
of
wrestling, is what they need.
Yeah, they do need some wrestling. That would be real dumb.
They're in Orlando. All the wrestlers are there.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, they kept doing those kind of goofy stage events where it was just like, I don't know, guys, I don't know what you're doing, but good on you for
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. Like I said, until the people just
Yeah.
with no mic skills got out there and
Yeah.
thought that they had to shout into a microphone.
Yeah.
It's like that's the reason for a microphone.
Mhm.
You can control the volume of your voice.
Right. Yeah, and also this year, like, it felt like there were still a ton of people there, but it didn't feel as crowded somehow to me. Like, you still got your personal space invaded, which is my favorite
Space
arcade game.
Invaders.
it never felt as busy as it had on previous years to where
Yeah.
we were like, we have to get the fuck out of here.
Right.
And we did because
We're
wa-
used to it.
Was it Saturday? Like Saturday, we played all the pinball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we,
we
still
played-
we still went out for a little while, but like
because we knew we had signed up for the VIP thing, and
we made up for any days we've ever gone like we should play more pinball by playing, like to the point
Yeah.
that like Sunday came around, it was like I guess we got to do a fucking tournament. And
yeah,
like,
we were like,
My legs.
I
hurt
was
so
like,
bad.
I just want to get the fuck out of here right now. To be honest with you, I don't even want to touch anything today.
that VIP thing was I don't want to say it was genius for us to do it because who knows how busy it was going to be. It just worked out very well because
Yes.
not a lot of people signed up for it. The ones who did were more interested in the bar in the back and just hung out there the whole time.
Some of them. Yeah.
I mean, I went from machine to machine to machine, like one after another in a row, and never had anyone in the way.
Mhm.
And it got to a point where it was like 1:15, and I was like, you know what? I think I've played everything. I think I've played. I mean, I played all the little tiny arcade machines. I played every weird arcade cabinet that I had never even given a second glance to. I'd be like, well, okay, played that. They had the Plebeius machine there.
Polybius.
So I got some subliminal messages in my
Yep,
face.
me too.
I didn't.
Oh, that's probably why you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was.
I did play some MK Ultra though. No, I didn't.
One of the.
What's this MK2 machine? You want to try it?
No, Mark II. Get it straight.
Oh,
God.
sorry.
Real
Sorry.
fans know it's Mark II.
Hi, Mark II Ninja here.
Fall for that
Um,
goddamn ruse every time. You're like, you want to play Mark II? I'm like, okay. 4 seconds later, haha, finish him. You're just not even. You're staring at me while you're hitting the buttons. Like, huh? Is this a game?
I've done that before. I'm not gonna lie. I basically not looked at the screen.
Yeah. You're like, jump, combo, done. I'm like,
You just have to glance over and see which direction you're
Yeah.
facing in.
yes. Yeah.
Anyway, it was a good year at the
Mhm.
pinballs, and we were sad that we did not have Mr. Mackey's presence.
It's true.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm all right. I'm not that great.
We don't
I'm
care.
glad you
Your
guys got all the
presence.
pinball in.
We didn't say anything about how good you were.
yeah,
just
we would have
I'm
liked to
just-
have had you around.
I'm glad you don't really have regrets about it.
never
Because I know Atlanta, we were like, oh man, we probably shouldn't have left for so long that one day. But
We did Atlanta wrong, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
We were away for far too long, and part of that was we just got swept up by our fans.
well, part of that was the place we went for food took like 2 fucking hours.
That's
just
true,
to
too.
bring us our food.
Yeah.
so,
And then they denied Harlow his chicken and waffles. Or
yeah. They
whatever.
waited long enough to take the order
Yeah.
until it was after the time. Where
Oh,
he
we
could
can't make that now.
get- Yeah. Oh, that
It's-
cook left.
It's for yeah. It's
that cook
for,
was here when we got here, bitch.
I'm like,
you get back there and cook it.
I should have just looked at her and be like, if you bring it out right now and put it in front of my eyes, I'm pretty sure I could cook it. Because I'm staring lasers into you right now.
Why don't you
Yeah.
place the eggs on my forehead?
Put the toast between your legs.
But yeah,
That's awfully forward.
No, it's
I'm glad Guardians
5
is a
easy
good
pieces.
table.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just sounds like a good one.
Star Wars is just a good table. It's a good table.
I just wish the timing of that show was like a week earlier than it is.
Yeah,
because
it's
right,
right
before
before
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
is tough.
It's weird. Well, I think what happened is that they tried that one year, but it conflicts with the international amusement thing at the
IAAPA or
at the
whatever,
convention
yeah.
center, and someone raised a stink about it. They were like, you can't have this at the same time. This is a conflict, especially being so close.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing is with the IAAPA thing is
Mm-hmm.
it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So they could have it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but
That's real weird.
it's weird.
Because there was that one year we went where they overlapped,
Yes.
and because we were getting this weird, like, okay, now we got to go over to that thing, and it was strange. But yeah, I also wish it was not the week before Thanksgiving because it's just
Or maybe they keep them close. They want to keep them close enough so that like Gary Stern only has to travel to one,
could be that.
to Orlando once or whatever.
Yeah.
But
But it
Couldn't
doesn't.
they do the weekend before though, and he just stay there
Yeah.
for the other thing?
Possibly,
just to give
yeah.
you some separation from Thanksgiving.
But I mean, it doesn't seem like they're hurting for attendance.
Mm-mm.
So
no, they're doing well. They're doing well.
I guess it's working out for him then.
Some of the people that we know brought some machines down
Mm-hmm.
and bought and sold some stuff, which is really cool. So there will actually be a Guardians of the Galaxy table in our area code. So we'll
Yeah.
be able to go see it,
that'll be
which
fun.
is cool.
But yeah, boy, that was a weekend.
It was. I'm tired just talking about it again.
It's good that we only do those things every 6 months or so because it's just like
Yeah.
as soon as it's over, I'm like, I don't want to ever do this again. But about 2 weeks later, I'm like, I would totally go do it again right now and then I just start building up for
Yeah,
the
it's
next
fine.
one. So
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, we've talked way too long about pinball.
Yep.
So we have any emails?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Cool.
No, but if people do want to send them to us, where can they go?
Wear my skull at noquarters.net.
They can.
Is that WEAR?
No, it's
Put it on.
where
Yes. Where?
with a H.
As in, what is the location of my skull?
What is the location of my skull?
Okay.
Where?
Me skull.
Yes. All those things.
That's good.
Or I think talk at noquarters.net also works.
Yeah, it'll work. It's not as much fun.
No,
but
it is
it'll
not.
work.
If you're into that whole brevity thing.
Yeah, I mean, go to
Nah.
noquarters.net. You'll find all our stuff. Twitch.tv, YouTube.com, Twitter.com, Facebook.com. All of them /noquartersnet.
That's correct.
Go there.
Yeah.
Live, love, learn, or something.
Subscribe to
pray,
us on
love.
the things.
Yes.
Subscribe, rate,
please.
review.
Yes, like all of our things.
Smash that like button with your forehead.
Yes.
The
And-
blood on your keyboard will connect you to
right.
us.
We need to be able to buy 6 more emotes for the chat. So
Yeah.
so if you can give
So-
us your jewels and
Yes. BJ will send you shout-outs as he
The
As
fuck
he-
are y'all talking about?
as he
Man.
stabs an orc. He's going to be like, "Thanks for that gold,
I do that.
live man 420."
Oh,
You're talking about Twitch.
I fired up Twitch the other day and never felt as old as I am.
hey, you want to feel old?
Fire up Twitch. It's just hot bullshit of here's a sparkly sparkler and here's a virtual hug and a heart sign and here's a dude's face that you don't know
People-
who he is.
People are MySpacing their way to riches over at Twitch. I am not. We have there's 2.5 people that join us weekly Monday nights at 9 p.m. at twitch.tv/noquartersnet.
Oh, poor half person.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
which half?
I don't know. Doesn't show me that.
I feel old just even thinking about going to Twitch, much less actually going there.
Well, now I know.
I just straight up don't understand it.
The
You just have to find the right streamers.
Yeah.
No,
Honestly,
no.
because
I
there-
have a stack of games this big. If I have any free time, you know what? I'm going to play them.
I watch that shit at work.
So-
I don't watch Twitch at home ever.
yeah, no.
A, I will watch it at work sometimes. B, I'll like sit down to have dinner
Mhm.
and just, there are a few people that I follow, and if one of them is online, I'll watch them while I'm eating. And sometimes I don't feel like playing a single fucking thing. I just want to sit there and watch.
And sometimes it's a
Watch
game
somebody
that you
do a
don't want to play, like Near Automata. I should probably watch somebody else play that.
Yes.
Probably should.
I've just never found anyone that's just playing the game and generally shutting the fuck up. They're just talking the whole damn time.
The popular ones are always going to be talking.
I was rather amazed by the number of people not playing any game, even though their stream said they were. Like they were
Mhm.
just idling on the title screen and just chatting. For
Yeah.
like,
There are a lot of people who think that their job as a Twitch streamer is to shout out people who are like donating money to them. But I would like to let people know, like, you can do some of that.
Yeah.
But you should probably play some games and stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing Twitch Creative, and then in which you should just do whatever you're gonna do, I guess. But
Yeah.
or Twitch IRL and do whatever you're gonna do. But if you're supposed to be playing games, I think you should play games.
Things have gotten real weird out there.
Yeah.
It stands to reason.
And I understand, like, as somebody who watches people do Twitch streaming, I appreciate some fan interaction or some chat interaction, but it gets a bit much when that's all that you're doing. So
Anyway,
It's
sorry.
not going to be like that on your streams on Monday nights at 9.
not unless you're willing to give me lots of money, in which case I will do whatever you want.
DJ will do anything you want on camera
for money.
for the right amount of money.
Or money.
How much to make people stop streaming games altogether?
Too much.
It's going to take a lot.
Full-time jobs.
It's probably going to take one major scandal on Twitch. That'll ruin it all.
You just have to bribe
Ama-
the heads that be at Twitch to demonetize.
Yes.
Amazon. Something will go fucky, and Amazon will shut it down. But
All right.
A live swatting snuff film
Oh
Yep.
no.
on Twitch.
it'll happen. one day.
Sadly, I can see
Yep.
that happen.
No, somebody's been swatted on Twitch before.
Oh, plenty of
Yeah.
people have.
but not to
I'm
where
just
it
saying,
actually
like,
ended
where the
in
cop
death.
puts a bullet in their fucking head.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein style.
Well, as long as it's a Nazi, I'm kind of okay with it.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's stop.
All right.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
Harlow.
get out of here.
Uh,
You son of a bitch. Messing up our outro. I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Harlow.
And this is No Quarters Out.
Motherfucking video game podcast.
Who's going to do a little intro-y thing?
Oh,
Who did last time?
Me.
You always say that, and you're usually lying.
You're a
I did it.
goddamn liar.
I did it. I did it.
Was it me last time?
No, it's me.
Shut up, Chuck.
Chuckles.
What?
Quit your chuckling.
Okay.
You say that every time, and usually I go check the next day, and it's not true at all.
Yeah, you're a goddamn liar is what you are.
I can't help that you're checking the wrong thing.
I'll do it. Fine.
That enthusiasm.
The thing's
Ah.
right there.
I'll do it.
Oh, he scrolled it. Okay, good.
This episode of No Quarters, we talk about all the sequels, and then the sequel to this is the Xbox One.
I wish you could recreate the magic of that one
What?
where you just had a brain spasm right in the middle of it. You were like, we talk about neat things like that. It was just like, what?
That was actually on purpose.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I enjoyed it.
I simulated a brain aneurysm.
Okay. Neat.
This month on No Quarters, we talk sequels like Wolfenstein II, Assassin's Creed Origins, Middle Earth Shadow of War, Dungeons 2 and 3, Battlefront 2, Destiny 2, South Park 2, Xbox One X, which is kind of like a number 3. Lots of sequels. Check it out.
Lots of sequels.
Hey guys, Mark the Ninja here.
Oh, yay!
Hey guys, it's Mark, the Ninja,
He's
here.
he's brought it down.
I'm on new medication. I
Yeah.
just want you to
I've had a
say.
frontal lobotomy.
I've been playing the Xbox One Xanax, and it's
Yeah.
pretty good. I
Xanax
got, like,
Box One.
I got
Oh, man.
that 4-kill graphics and
4 kilograms.
Does anyone want to play
I
the
got
Verona?
the 4 kills and Hodor graphics.
I have COD World War II. Dub Dub Deuce.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, guys, just chicken, keep killing.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Keep killing. Anyway, keep killing.
What?